welcome to our flagship conference that we've been organizing now for the fourth consecutive year. It's heartwarming to see you joining us from all over the globe. Please keep sharing in the chat where you are dialing in from and what brings you in here today. Let's get the chat started. But before I delve into our exciting conference, let me thank you all for your support and good thoughts you shared with me in the last weeks, which obviously was not and still is not easy. I'm very proud of our global AI community who stands for respect and peace. We all love positivity, creativity, and joy. We do not reward hate. Hate won't solve our problems. When we talk about the ethical aspects of AI and responsible AI, we always encourage diversity, inclusion, and respect. To do this, we need to embrace everyone's identity of all races, all religions, and ethnicities. Unfortunately, this always has been a huge challenge and still is. I am and feel deeply sad that I have to be thankful to be accepted to be a Swiss-Israeli Jew and for not being bullied nor harassed for that fact. I trust there are millions of good people around the world, no matter where in the world people fight each other. Let's stand up together against hatred and stand up for respect and peace. So why wait? Act now and make peace. And now, dear AI enthusiasts, let's start with our Swiss Cognitive Flagship Conference. With 20 subject matter experts, we take the entire AI ecosystem under our magnifying glass, see where we stand today and where we are heading in the next year. In the past 12 months, we all witnessed how AI is really making its way into our industries. Just opened the last few editions of our weekly featured news. There you will see all the amazing advancements in healthcare, wildlife research, process development, predictive maintenance, dating platforms, waste management, real estate, art, you name it, the list is endless. Then I really would like to draw into your attention our AI Navigator, the practical leadership guide to navigate the AI era. It is a comprehensive guide to leaders in any industries to succeed in the AI era. It is based on dozens of hours of interviews that we conducted with AI experts around the industries this year. And let me say that with real experts, real human beings. You can find the link to download it in our handouts or also on our website. We also keep sharing it on social media where we kindly ask you to share your perspective and feedback. It would be great to hear from you. All in all, with the ongoing development, I think we can say that it is no wonder that expert investors and startups alike are increasingly drawn into this technology's potential. In fact, investments into this technology is not anymore a matter of speculation, but an imperative. And the investments are indeed happening. In 2023, the average AI deal is worth over $29 million. The market size in the AI market is projected to reach over $240 billion by the end of this year. As of 2023, the North American AI market is valued at $30.9 billion. And very importantly, the AI and machine learning jobs increased by almost 75% in the last years. These are only some of the figures that we see. Despite all of these massive numbers, to ensure that these investments really do translate into more efficiency on the business side and better products on the service on the customer side, they need to further intensify. And beyond that, they also need to align with our fragile world and natural resources. To facilitate this development, at Swiss Cognitive, we unite technical brilliance, experts, leaders, and investors with a shared objective of shaping the future where AI's potential is not just recognized, but fully realized. Dear AI experts and enthusiasts around the world, take the opportunity to engage, question, and collaborate. The chat is here for you to exchange on AI. Our experts will answer your questions either here today or after the conference in our post-event Q&A article that will be shared in our community in the next weeks. Take the chance, connect, brainstorm, and share for success. And now, dear audience, let's dive into the agenda and put our experts into the spotlight and start with the first interview. Now, with Andy and I belonging to one of the few global AI power couples, it is now our special honor to welcome another AI power couple and dear friend on our virtual stage. Petra and Ragnar, I'm really happy to have you with us today and have the privilege to interview both of you. But first and foremost, let me introduce you to our global audience. Dear Petra, you are a founding partner at AI.FUND. You are a serial tech entrepreneur, co-founder of AI.Invest, AI.HAMBURG, AI for Germany, AI Startup Hub, SMATO, and Intershop. You serve as a board member of the ECIU University Advisory Board, member of the Faculty of Business Administration of Hamburg University, ambassador of Hamburg University of Technology, investment committee member of Hamburg Innovation, and committee member of Innovation and Research at the Hamburg Chamber of Commerce. With over 40 years living and working in the Silicon Valley, you now chair the Global Hamburg Ambassador Alumni. Welcome, dear Petra. It's my great pleasure to have you here. Now with you, we have Ragnar, your business and private partner. Ragnar, you are the founder and CEO of AI.FUND, AI.HAMBURG, and AI.Invest. Previously, you served as the co-founder and CEO of SMATO. Between 2005 and 2019, you spearheaded SMATO's evolution into a global leader in real-time mobile advertising. In 2021, alongside 5 regional partners, you launched the AI Startup Hub, offering a haven for AI startups in the Hamburg metropolitan and northern German regions. With over 40 years of IT experience, you possess a deep understanding of the unique challenges involved in bringing new technologies to the market. You've successfully built numerous companies in both the US and Europe, guiding them from interception to market launch. Dear Petra and Ragnar, it is great to have you both here. Let's start with the first question. May I start with you, Petra? Now, how did you actually come to AI, and what drives you? What drives your passion for AI?
First of all, thank you so much for the invitation to be here, and we really appreciate your friendship, we appreciate your passion, both of yours, for AI, and your constant activity to make AI known, and this is close to our hearts, and so we are very grateful that we could be here. Thank you so much. And we actually came to AI because at our former company, SMATO, we used and built AI tools for, in the beginning, fraud detection, but then later on also to optimize different business functions, including optimization of cost, optimization of business processes within the mobile advertising. And so we realized how important this technology is, and that we wanted to share it with not just the community, which we did in the beginning, but also with other businesses, and especially businesses in Europe and in Germany, and of course in Hamburg. And so the passion began. We started the initiative, the not-for-profit initiative AI for Hamburg, where we did events, where we did also business events, and we're just really happy that we started doing this, and yes, that's how our passion began.
Great, thanks. And we had the privilege, Andy and I, to actually be at one of your events, and it was really rocking. That was super cool. Ragnar, and how did you actually, from your side, came into the topic of AI, and what drives your passion especially?
Yeah, I've been pretty much nearly 40 years in tech, always at the forefront of tech. Had a first AI startup in 2002, which was a spin-off of the German Research Center of Artificial Intelligence. And as Petra said, in our last company, Smarto, we did a lot of AI and saw huge positive effects. Yeah. So for us, AI is a key technology of this century, enabling exponential innovation across all industries. And therefore, I think, and I'm completely convinced, we are living in the most exciting time of mankind.
Oh, indeed, indeed. Can you emphasize a little bit of how do you see the year 2023, how it was for AI, and how you see it for 2024?
Yeah, I think the difference really 2023 was about ChatGPT. ChatGPT, AI, everyone in the Western world understands what now AI can do. Yeah. ChatGPT and other large language models have taken the world by storm since last year, 22 times faster than Facebook and Meta. Yeah. Easy access to new AI models plays an important role here. Anyone can use this new technology to address tasks that could previously only be carried out by qualified specialists. Now, AI technology can understand content and knowledge. And being 40 years in tech, I've never seen something like that.
So before sorry, go on.
Yeah, and also to say this, and every of those 6 billion smartphone users worldwide now has this technology at their fingertips and can access the qualified knowledge of mankind.
So before we go into why is it exactly now a good time to invest in AI, Petra, and where do you see the big chances back in 2023?
First of all, in healthcare, definitely, because we believe that healthcare is at a tipping point, and it will go much more to personalized medicine, and also definitely to more time for doctors because they use diagnostic tools that drastically speed up analysis and also are way more accurate. And any doctor, whether it's an experienced professor or it's a young new doctor, have the same basis now for their analysis, which is proven that it's actually also so much better, more accurate.
Indeed. I think especially in healthcare, if I think about how we can accelerate and multiply the workforces, the talents, because we have a shortage, it's super important. And when I just think back to share a short anecdote, when my daughter was like 4 years old, she had to be in hospital for a long, long period of time. And I remember how difficult it was for the nurses not to have enough time, and how we parents had literally to be there 7/24 to support them, actually to be with the kids. And thinking of today, how we can support these nurses and doctors to do a better job and to have more time for the human being, I think this is, to me, one of the most important things.
Yes, well, and also the remote analysis is much more possible now. Because taking time off, not everybody can go to the emergency room, and a lot of times it doesn't make sense to go to the emergency room, and remote analysis is very important then. And as a matter of fact, we are right now here at the University Hospital in Hamburg, where Ragnar just did a presentation talking about medicine and healthcare.
Great. I mean, perhaps we can even remain here a little bit. It's, as you mentioned, healthcare, it's also the remote control of the patient so they can go home earlier on one hand, but on the other hand, and perhaps we can stay here also a little bit, it's about elderly care. I mean, we all know people get older, we getting older, so, and we have to, or want to look after our parents. I think also there will be a lot of support and take out pressure. How do you see that? Petra, Ragnar, whoever.
Sorry?
I think, there are more and more startups coming up with solutions easier to adopt if it's in elderly healthcare and observation. Yeah, so we see huge improvements in Europe and probably the rest of the world. Then, of course, the regulation influences how fast we're able to roll out those technologies. Yeah, that's probably something we need to solve everywhere.
If I can remain with you, Ragnar, now, why do you think exactly now is a good time to invest in AI?
Yeah, I think we are in a really perfect situation now to invest in AI. Technology has really matured. Based on that, AI startups, which we always call speedboats of innovation, using AI technology to bring them into standardized products, which will make it much easier and cheaper to adopt this technology at companies. Yeah. And clearly with Gen AI, during this year, AI is now on the top of CEO agendas and creating therefore huge demand for AI solutions. Yeah. So that therefore timing is great. And you know those predictions that there's an annual growth rate of AI segments of more than 40% per year. I'm sorry, I have a phone ringing here at a doctor's thing and I cannot really stop it.
Don't worry, don't worry. At least everyone knows it's live. Huh? We're not faking anything. We're all live. This is part of our game. Well,
yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
So yeah, and to finish up, also we can see in Silicon Valley has heavily invested in AI. Yeah, so around 40% of all venture investments this year went into AI companies in the US. Yeah, Kleiner Perkins sees an AI as a booster for overall market this year. Sequoia has actually increased their share of investing in startups from 16 to 60%. Menlo just raised an AI fund for 1.3.5 million. So all the signs are there. Those early and VCs are already investing there. So there's a lot really going on. It's kind of a gold rush set for investors. And we just need to take the chance. And therefore, we are saying the time to invest in AI is now.
Well, it is definitely now. And if you compare that now, how do you see corporates in this game of AI investments? I mean, we need investments, obviously, into startups. We need investments into the companies. Where and how do you see the role of corporates? Petra.
They're on two sides. Yeah. Let me start with that. So I think AI will change every industry. CEOs are seeing this. And therefore, AI is also a great opportunity for corporates, better products and services, higher efficiencies. And actually, Gen AI now helps on all enterprise levels to improve sales and marketing to customer support. Yeah, so therefore, there's a high potential to also use AI as a strategic competitive advantage. Yeah, so we all have seen the McKinsey study in June, which showed on top of the existing AI predictions, the value creation of AI will be again increased by 35 to 70%. So for corporates, in Europe, they are a little slower on adoption of innovation compared to the US. In the US, the tech giants have heavily invested over the last couple of years. They have what Bloomberg called the AI armies, and therefore have huge AI specialists applying this technology. European corporations have very much to catch up. Yeah. And we are talking to a lot of corporations to use actually fund investments to get a quick access to relevant AI investments and ecosystems. So besides on investing in the technology and using it, they should also, similar to the US, where you see 50% of the venture capital coming from corporations, that is something what they also should do in Europe, investing in startups or investing in funds who then invest in startups as a very important strategic investment and strategic to take an also strategic competitive advantage.
So when I'm listening to you, one of the fundamental thing, and we all know that, and this is why we're all here, is also the ecosystem. So how do you, Petra, see the importance of the ecosystem and the collaboration when it comes to investing in AI?
Yes, just look at Silicon Valley. Their ecosystems and collaboration in AI investment is just critical. Ecosystems that bring together startups, established companies, academia, and government create a fertile ground for innovation, resource sharing, and also knowledge exchange. And we have built an ecosystem and also connected different players in the ecosystem. For example, the Silicon Valley Hamburg ecosystem, the Transatlantic AI Exchange, AI.HAMBURG, the AI Startup Hub that we do with 6 other partners. And there are also hubs in Berlin, in Munich, and Darmstadt that we collaborate with. And then we have AI for Germany, which connects 12 different AI state initiatives in Germany. So collaboration ensures diverse perspectives and expertise that are vital for AI's development and enables data sharing within ethical and privacy standards. Then this synergy not only drives technology and technological advancement, but also offers a sustainable and responsible investment approach. In essence, investing in collaborative AI ecosystems is likely to yield better long-term results, fostering continuous innovation and responsible practices. So it is great what you're doing with Swiss Cognitive, and we are very, very happy to be a part of that.
Thanks. And this is a very nice final word showing how important collaboration is, no matter which subject we're touching. Petra, Ragnar, I feel that we could have go on and on and on, and I'm happy that we will meet you soon in person again. There is really a lot to discuss. Now we're going to have
very much for
more. It's my how do you say, like sorry. Now I just we're super happy. I'm actually always very excited when I have friends on stage. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a great festive season and see you very soon next year.
See you too.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
So now, dear audience, first and foremost, excuse my voice. You're probably the ones who know me realize that my voice is a bit strange. I'm literally sick. This is also why I'm keeping drinking, so I'm keeping up with the next 3 hours. So let's continue this discussion. And now it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the first panel discussion. Incredible insights, and we really only just started the conference. So now stay tuned and listen to the future of investment in AI foundation model. We know that the center of AI's rapid evolution, where leading LLM providers play a pivotal role. Current investment in this domain are reshaping how we perceive and interact with technology. These AI models aren't just business. They are blueprints of worldwide digital advancement. For this discussion, I'm happy to welcome 5 incredible minds on our stage: Cinderella Omer, Jacques Ludic, David Schreier, Niels Remer, and John Wesley, and Alexander Busson. Dear experts, a warm welcome, and first and foremost, let me introduce you to Jacques. Hi, Jacques. I'm literally feeling talking to you almost every day. And it's again a huge pleasure to have you on our stage. Dear audience, Jacques is and remains one of our first Swiss Cognitive France and ambassadors, and I'm so happy to have you with us here again. Jacques, you are a visionary AI entrepreneur and author with over 25 years of global experience. As a founder of C-Sense Systems, Africa's first AI company sold to General Electric, you've pioneered AI advancements. Your books, including Democratizing AI, showcase your deep insights. By the way, we shared it on social media. Whoever is interested, check it out. You're leading Cortex Group and Cortex Logic and founding the Machine Intelligence Institute for Africa. You're transforming AI's role in society. Honored as 2019 Africa's AI Leader of the Year, you worked in sustainable, human-centric AI continues to shape the future. Let me introduce you to your panel. With you, we have Cinderella. You are a dynamic professional blending 15 years in capital markets with pioneering expertise in the Web3 and blockchain sector. As a key figure in Hong Kong's tech scenes, you're recognized for using AI chatbots to boost trading profitability. Skilled in launching businesses, you advise leading digital assets firms and serve as a managing partner at Glass Ventures, focusing on digital assets and Web3 investments. With a multilingual ability and diverse academic background, you are a frequent speaker at global tech conferences, passionately driving innovation in the industry, and I feel privileged to have you with us here today. Thank you. Now we have David, with a portfolio focused on cognitive technology, new financial architectures, and sustainability tech. David, you embody innovation. Your academic work at the Imperial College Business School, focusing on trust AI and digital assets, complements your practical achievements, including spinning out 4 AI startups from MIT and advising governments and companies on tech-embedded transformation. Your expertise isn't just theoretical. You led $10 billion of innovation initiatives in the Fortune 1000, private equity and venture capital, including over $600 million of completed principal transactions as either led investors or management. David, also you are a dear friend of ours, and I'm super happy to have you with us on stage again. Now we're getting to Niels. You are a trailblazer in NLP and deep learning, specializes in creating dense vector space for text representation. As a creator of Asbert.net and the current director of machine learning at Cohere.ai, you led the development of world-class language models for search and content aggregation. Your focus lies in building foundation models that enrich content understanding for a variety of applications and tasks, setting new standards in semantic search and few text classification. Thanks for being with us here. John, you are Senior Director and founding team member of NVIDIA Venture, NVIDIA's venture capital arm. You are bringing experience from previous role at Omniox and Dream Bio. You hold a Master of Business Administration from University of Pennsylvania, the Water School, with a robust skill set that includes hedge funds, private equity, valuation alternative investment, equity research, and more. You contribute valuable insights to the industry. I'm super happy and honored to have someone like you on our stage. Thanks for being with us today. Jacques, Cinderella, Niels and John, the stage is yours. See you back in 30 minutes.
Okay, can you hear me delete? Okay, great. I'm quite excited to be here. We've got a really illustrious panel here, and it's super exciting discussing the future of investments in AI foundation models. As the lead mentioned also, I wrote a book on democratizing AI to benefit everyone, shaping a better future in a smart technology era. So my first question is going to be around democratization and centralization of AI, and what's the impact of these AI foundational models as well. And when we talk about AI foundational models, I think there's a lot of focus right now on generative AI, which is for good reason. But there's obviously other technologies that's also foundational that one can probably also look at. But my first question, and I want to open it up to the whole of all of the panel, and we can take it step by step. So what are the most transformative impacts investment are having on major large language model providers and the infrastructure? So obviously, John, if you think about infrastructure, what NVIDIA is providing, but then also if we think about LLM providers, and what I would like to know specifically about that most transformative impacts is also what is this leading to democratization or further centralization of AI development? So we can just focus on that first, and then I'll go into individual questions. So, John, can we start with you, please?
Yes, and nice to speak to everyone today. I'd say it's really a balance between democratization and centralization. NVIDIA, we're an infrastructure provider to the entire ecosystem, from the largest companies to the smallest companies, and companies that have not even been formed yet, that are just ideas on the part of early founding teams. I think has been discussed in the press. Democratization to ensure access and technological enablement broadly is a really important trend, but that also comes with considerations around security and appropriate use to make sure that that either personal information is protected, or in particular fields like tech bio, that that things are not generated in the wild that could be damaging. I'd say centralization. There's concerns around too much centralization in the power of a few, but I think that the ecosystem right now is, as evidenced by the vigorous startup community, is for sure encouraging a lot of open access and democratization. And there's many companies that are taking those foundational models, turning them into applications for end users to experiment. And I see many people, including my children, experimenting, at a very early age. And I think with the natural language interface that a lot of the AI apps have, it makes it quite accessible, and makes that access quite open.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. There's obviously also the angle of open source versus closed source proprietary that one can delve into as well. Cinderella, I would love to get your perspective, opinion on this as well. Oh, I think you on mute. I don't think. I don't. Well, you need to press the unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Hi, everyone. So basically, on my front, I would really put the spectrum of the democratization, and this is why actually I got there. So eventually I got there by fear, right? Not FOMO, fear. And then the fear transformed into a FOMO eventually, right? But it was all about like, how do I, get a edge against my own investment, right? So basically, when you see these new innovations, and I would borrow that from Mark Vizier from Park in Palo Alto. He was saying the most profound technologies are those that disappear. So it's all about future-proofing yourself, right? Just like what's coming up, what's coming your way, and being able to be like, okay, I want to invest in the future of tomorrow. And for me, the future of tomorrow is what I see today with all these startups coming in. And eventually, what I think that is fascinating is that they create a product fit. So it's not, until now, when you're investing in Web3, it was like you look into a project and you're like, or a startup, and you're like, what is the total addressable market? What is the product fit? What is the go-to-market strategy? What I like about Web4, which is the new iteration of the web, right? What about Web4 is that anything I see that I can label Web4, I would be like, I want to be in. Like, can you count me in? And if in my retail capacity, individual capacity, I want to be in, I see mass adoption. and already see the cash flow, right? So as an investor perspective, but eventually it's like you don't know ChatGPT exists, and the day you meet with ChatGPT, it becomes your best friend, right? It's a bit like Steve Jobs going on stage in Palo Alto, like 2 decades ago, and he will show you this, right? It will be like, you know, we will be able to video call, and people will be like, I'm sorry, I don't want to see your face at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? I mean, I want to put makeup on, you know, whatever, you know, I don't want to see you. Guess what? Today we just do video calling, and that's where we are right now, right? So he created a perfect fit. Basically, you didn't know it exists, and now you just like you can't live without it. And this is what I see right now with the rise of AI use cases, and together with the quantum computing. So I definitely see it as democratization.
Okay, I think that's going to be a very interesting discussion. The Web 4.0 is also interesting. I wanted to talk about that as well. David, just your perspective as well on this.
Yeah. Trying to unmute. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Oh, you're in mute now. We were able to hear you before.
How's now?
That's better.
Okay.
That's better.
So I look at this through two lenses because I spend part of my life leading the Trusted AI Alliance at Imperial College, where we're looking at broad questions of equity, access, fairness, regulation, policy, and innovation. And then I look at it through my venture studio, Visionary Future, where we're investing. We have a portfolio of 29 companies that are spanning kind of cognitive technologies and fintech. And one of the trends that we've seen emerge that we're investing around is you have a concentration in a very small number of foundation model players who have disproportionate market power. They encouraged an app ecosystem, and then at least some of them have started to disrupt it. So as soon as OpenAI announced their GPTs, a whole array of startup companies became obsolete overnight. We've managed against this risk by focusing on a very particular investment thesis, where we say you want to invest in businesses that have proprietary data and data pipelines, where they can, it's the opposite of democratization, where they can create a moat off of a replenishing pool of data, as well as embedding deep vertical expertise into a model. So on the one hand, you have a large number of people who have access to these foundation models through their APIs and their front ends. And on the other hand, the foundation model players periodically say, oh, that's an interesting area that the ecosystem has identified. I'm now going to make an entire set of companies obsolete. And so it is possible to invest around that and to defend against it, but you need to have it embedded in your thesis.
Absolutely. Thanks, David. Niels, given that you're a director of machine learning at Cohere, you're more kind of in the middle of developing these kind of solutions. How do you think about also democratization versus centralization, but also kind of what are the most transformative impacts? You guys are developing LLM models and infrastructure and NLP kind of solutions. So how do you guys think about it?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm in the space for like over 10 years. So we had our ChatGPT moment in academia like 10 years ago with the first foundation models in computer vision. There are like two types of techniques or technologies. So there's the foundation models, which are very expensive as of now to develop. So you need great talent, a lot of data, a lot of compute. So development of foundation model goes into like the tens of millions, will potentially reach like hundreds of millions, which only so far only few can have the money for it. And for a long time in the field, we have been dependent on like Google to open source a lot of these first foundation models like BERT, T5, and give it like to the community for free. But obviously, it's kind of like a challenging business model to say, okay, I invest 100 million in a foundation model, and then I give it away to the community for free with like no returns. So at that time, Google had the deep pockets from advertisement on Google search, but nowadays they shifted and they sadly no longer make these models available. So either we need like a technological breakthrough that these foundation models become cheaper to create, which is challenging. I mean, you can't plan for it. Or we need to find ways and say, okay, so maybe like governmental funding to create these foundation models. Or do we find like some suitable business model where we still say, okay, we make these models open source available and still can create like a viable business out of it. But yeah, so far it's challenging creating these foundation models and giving them away for free in an open source way.
Yeah, awesome. John, I would love to delve a little bit into NVIDIA's investment portfolio. And I know, for instance, NVIDIA made some investments into Inflection, that's also there in California. But what are the characteristics of, say, successful LLM startups, and what kind of advice do you have for entrepreneurs in this space? So if you can just talk a little bit about the investment portfolio, but then also talk a little bit about these kind of successful LLM startups in your view.
Yeah, I'd say our investment portfolio we've really been building up over the we've been investing for several years, but I think it's accelerated over the last couple of years. And I'd say I'm proud to say that Niels's company is one that NVIDIA has invested in. We've invested globally, and I'd say we've invested quite broadly. So we've invested as well in a European company, Mistral, Israeli company, AI.21, in addition to some that are, I would say, quite focused in particular domains, either in healthcare or in even robotics and embodied AI. I'd say characteristics of successful LLM startups. I think one that comes to mind is, I'd really highlight the importance of the team, the importance of not just the founding team, but also in the kind of competition for talent, the ability to continue to attract great talent over time. There's obviously a lot of funding interest from the part of VCs, and there's a lot of competition for talent. But top talent tends to continue to attract top talent, and I think that's over time, particularly at this still very early stage of the industry, will be a really important factor. And so for entrepreneurs getting started, I think beyond the founding team, continuing to build over time is really important.
Absolutely. And clearly you guys are investing in proprietary as well as open source kind of LLM startups. So you're covering the whole spectrum, which is interesting. And I think quite important. Cinderella, I would love you to just talk a little bit about specific investment trends or developments that you are observing in the AI landscape, investment landscape specifically. If you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So I'm extremely interested in the pathways between AI and Web3, so blockchain related, but also, as I said before, the combo with quantum computing, because we need the quantum computing to significantly accelerate the type of computation that is required for AI and machine learning. So these are the things that we're very excited about, and eventually, a bit like what I was saying before, what I like is to see per user perspective. So when I see the UX is there, I see already the mass adoption. I see already that there is a utility, there is something that people are attracted to, and this is where I see a project is going to be successful, basically. So there are a few projects we're looking at. There is a project called Timeless, for example, which is like a smart calendar. I don't know if you heard of it. I think this is very, very exciting. It's just like, I'm going to put in my calendar that I'm going to Paris in a few months. And basically, this smart calendar gets to know you. And eventually we'll book your flight ticket exactly the way you like the seat you like, the is it coach, is it business, the budget you want, this and that, but also order your driver exactly the time you should leave, because he knows you're not going to check in, this and that, you like to be the last one on the plane, whatever, a special meal, whatever. But also when you land, he's going to book you this restaurant you want, wherever, your favorite restaurant, favorite table, and so on. And he knows exactly how much time you need for that meeting. And have already the driver set for you, and so on and so on. But also the use of the data. So what I like is that you can So Web3 was all about like finally linking the dots, like all the data together. And Web4 is the next stage, is where we're gonna use that data to make ourselves like a super brain. So we're gonna finally be able to be respectful. If there is like a value chain of where our brain sits, we're gonna be very respectful of that value chain. And our brain is gonna be where it needs to be. And the noise around before and after is gonna be treated by another intelligence. That's the way we look at it.
Very interesting. There's no question that we are on a hyper-personalization drive. So the more we instrument the world and we get more data points, the more spatial computing we do in the Internet of Things, the better models we can build. So it's going to be very, very interesting. David, I'd love to dig a little bit into the ethical stuff as well. So the ethical considerations, please explain the ethical considerations VC should be taking into account when investing in LLM startups, generative AI kind of startups. And then also kind of a secondary question to that is, when you think about these kind of generative AI models, using it for good and not perpetuate harmful bias, how do you think about that? Obviously, that ties into ethical considerations.
Yeah. So when I start talking about ethics to people, their brains turn off. But when I use words like risk, compliance, regulation, trust, people wake up again. And so I was part of the advisory committee for the EU AI Act, and love it or hate it, it is now the law of the land. And I think other domiciles are looking at ways in which we can put some parameters around these new technologies that we're beginning to adopt. So there are a few things to consider. One is actually in John's domain, which is this notion of GPU rich and GPU poor countries and companies. So NVIDIA, among others, but notably NVIDIA, are in a privileged position of having pioneered an amazing new technology. And then that raises the question of who gets the chips? Who gets to use this technology? And I don't envy them the task of figuring out allocations of where they might have to trade off profit for equitable access. But this will continue to be a significant problem that we want to think about, which is, who gets to use these technologies, and are we creating a widening gap between rich and poor, and between rich countries and poor countries? And so that's one sort of domain space to consider, because it will intersect the realm of regulation and policy, and even sort of self-regulatory action. So, for example, stock exchanges have started putting in place rules on their members that have direct impact on their behaviors as corporations. And that's not being driven by law, that is being driven by action from the exchange and in consultation with its members. So that's something to consider. A second thing to consider, and this I will invert the question of ethics and say, there are problems that we shrugged our shoulders at and said we can't solve them because they were too hard. And so we sort of took the tough decision of saying we don't have enough money in government budgets to solve certain problems. AI disruption is so profound that it may open up or reopen these conversations and let us solve some problems that we previously thought were infeasible. So it's worth sort of reconsidering decisions that you've made. And in that path, in that process of pursuing these outcomes, we may see tremendous profit for VCs and their portfolios along the way. And so a number of my investments are working on global scale problems, like in areas such as carbon remediation or human health and neuropsychiatry, using AI to get there, disrupting the cost performance barrier and introducing cost savings and lowering prices for people, but also creating tremendous profit potential. And so there's some interesting opportunities where the ethical investor can also be the highly profitable investor.
Fantastic. It sounds fantastic. Niels, I just want to make sure I've got some messages coming through about an echo and stuff. So let's just see if it's better now, because I'm really keen to hear about what you reckon are the most promising areas of future LLM development. Given that you guys are right in the middle of it, how do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a complex question. so what we're really interested in is connecting LLMs to your data. So I mean, we've seen with ChatGPT tremendous impact on students helping on their homework. You can like it, you can hate it, but yeah, students like it to write essays about the French Revolution. But in enterprise, it's still a challenge. So if I ask like, hey, I have this sales call upcoming with a customer, can ask the system not like, hey, give me an overview, what have we discussed, what strategy should I do, try this time to convince the customer to close the deal. And so I think an interesting thing we will see is like better technologies to really understand the data, all of your data. So first in your personal life to see like all the data you have, all the communications and chats and conversations you have. And then also holistically in the enterprise where you say, okay, you are a big enterprise, have hundreds, thousands of people in your sales department. Can you understand it? Can you narrow it down and say, okay, this salesperson is like really good due to ABC? And then can you copy this with AI, analyze it with AI, copy us with AI, and yeah, make it in general a lot more efficient. The other aspect, which is critical going forward, is like data efficiency. So LLM's big challenge also with these open and closed source models, they are so data hungry. You need like petabytes of data. So it's good for NVIDIA. You need a lot of GPUs to crunch through, but it makes them all like really, really data inefficient. And we humans were amazing on data efficiency. I read like one news article about the new US president, however the election turns out. And then I kind of update, okay, who's in the White House, who's the first lady or first man, which party runs Washington and so on. So just from like a single 5-word information. So this is also which is really critical going forward, that I provide this one update to the model, and then the model can learn all the information from this update. And this will unlock a lot of new interesting capabilities in the space.
Okay, awesome. Sounds fantastic. Just quickly, John, kind of touch on what was just discussed there in terms of kind of promising areas. I'm quite interested from an investment perspective. What are the most promising areas within AI infrastructure and foundational models? How do you guys look at that? I know when you talk about teams and all of those kind of things, but surely as AI is improving and obviously infrastructure as well, and NVIDIA being at the forefront in terms of innovating around hardware and compute around these kind of things as well. So how do you guys look at this?
Yeah, I'd say we look at both some of the application areas for the foundational models, as well as you pointed out, some of the the infrastructure. Um, some aspects of infrastructure and tooling are continue to change, so it's an evolving space, and I'd say we recognize that and have made some selective investments. I do think I wanted to reemphasize some points that Niels and David I think both alluded to around data. We think that that's actually increasingly going to be important over time, particularly as some of the most easily accessible data sets are rapidly I don't want to say exhausted, but tapped into. And I think also addressing a risk and raising some of the concerns David made, I think there's a greater focus on how data is sourced to make sure that it's either ethically or legally accessed for some of the models that are trained, particularly as you move into other areas, in addition to text like video or music or some of these other spaces. But I think that there's so much potential for foundation models in a variety of areas, and I think there's a lot of new approaches to accessing data sets that are very domain specific, be it in healthcare, be it in the built environment with kind of IoT. I would also say, coming back to a comment around GPU availability, it's obviously an unprecedented time. The AI boom has set off just tremendous demand, not only from large companies, small companies, but also from sovereign entities. So it's really unprecedented. And I think if you look at, there's kind of the common wisdom from, say, the bitter lesson that bigger is better. But I think there's been some really innovative approaches where smaller can also be beautiful. and people have done interesting things with smaller parameters. I think the team at Mistral has shown that, and some others as well, where you can get quite surprising results, even not having for instance the largest model.
Absolutely. No, very fascinating, John. Thanks for that. Cinderella, just quickly, I know we've got about less than 4 minutes. In terms of market outlook, how do you foresee the future of AI foundation models influencing various industries? Obviously, it's going to have different impact on different industries. We think about education, healthcare, but also minerals, metal mining. There's the industrial space, but then there's the consumer-facing space. Clearly, LLMs will affect the consumer-facing side more than the industrial space. But what do you foresee in terms of the future of AI foundational models? How does it influence those kind of sectors?
I believe you sense that I'm extremely bullish, right? So
Yeah.
basically I would say every single industry, like really, and I've been a builder myself, right? So I designed one of the very first AI chatbots in a dealing room in a trading floor, and I had the customer pain and the customer gain, and I saw how this positive disruption was in place. So we cut down the time for execution as traders from 30 minutes to a few seconds. And you imagine the translation into P&L, but also in the intelligence you're getting from trading, right? But the thing is, like, so we speak about like the disruption that can happen in finance, in health. I mean, you mentioned that as well, because of all the acceleration of the research by just being able to compute all the data and being able to run many more experiences and so on, and then get better results and quicker. But the thing is, like, when I say every industry, even if in the press you would say, yeah, maybe real estate is going to be less disrupted, but at the end of the day, I really see a change in productivity, in product development, and again, in more intelligence. So I would see it applicable anywhere, really.
Yeah, awesome. David, very quickly, what emerging trends in AI and innovation are most likely to attract venture capital in the next 5 years? So obviously we can't see too far in the future things. We are sitting on exponential curve here in terms of innovation and stuff. But what would you say if you have to make a kind of a guess or guesstimate?
Yeah, so we it depends on what stage you're investing when you define venture capital. If you're late stage, there's still opportunities to invest in foundation models and large scale infrastructure technologies. If you're doing pre-seed through A round investing like me, you're focused at the application layer. You're looking at businesses that are solving problems in human scale effects. So one of the interesting things that the latest wave of AI disruption has generated is the ability to go after ultra large problem sets. So previously, AI had been, in some ways, a fairly narrow domain. We used it for things like optimizing airplane routing, and we used it for credit card models and marketing models. But now, with the latest generation of technologies, we can go after the UN Sustainable Development Goals and make money doing it. And so I think that companies that solve problems at society scale are going to compete and win in the next 5 to 7 years.
Absolutely agree. I'm quite excited about societal impact, return on impact, not only return on investment. You want both. And that's the opportunity that we've got. We've got a few seconds left. I just wanted to ask Niels very quickly, what are the biggest challenges in developing and scaling LLMs?
Yeah, data is a big one. So how do you get good data? The models are extremely data hungry. They have seen all the internet. There's a lot of bad data on the internet, a lot of toxic data, biased data, low quality data. So that's like really one of the biggest challenges. How can you ensure that all the data that goes into the model is good, especially at this scale? So it's not like that you can proofread it. So it's not possible to proofread the internet. So how can you really ensure that all the data that goes in is of good quality?
Fantastic. I just want to thank everyone here. Thanks for your fantastic contributions here. We've run out of time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and thanks for your wonderful insights. And with this, I'm going to hand it over to Dalit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacques, Cinderella, David, Niels, and John. It was a great exchange, and as always, we can go on and on and on. There is so much to share and to learn. And dear audience, please continue the chat offline, and also you can reach out to our panelists always on social media. They will be more than happy to exchange and to answer your question. For now, thank you for the incredible insights. Keep up the great work and the energy. Take care and enjoy the rest of the conference. I hope you can still learn something from the others. I wish you a wonderful festive season. It's really just around the corner. Okay, see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, I'm very excited to bring you the first use case of the day, which shows a different angle to why we need to invest in AI in the health industry. Bringing the reading gap AI innovations in dyslexia's support. Actually, as a mother of a daughter with dyslexia, I know the challenges that it entitles and how it can impact the mental health of a person. On the whole, the health industry touches us all in one way or the other. Now, in the next minutes, you will get to know the pivotal collaboration between Cortlex and Allkind Group, making a significant advancement in assistive technology for dyslexia. Artem and William, a warm welcome on our stage. It's great to have you here. Let me introduce you to our dear audience. Artem, I will start with you. In your current position, you lead a team of talent engineers and oversee the development and implementation of data-driven solutions of Cortlex customers. You are passionate about using the latest technologies and techniques in data science and deliver innovative solutions that drive business value. Outside of work, you enjoy cooking, ice skating, playing piano, and spending time with your family. With you, we have William. William, after a brief time developing invoicing software and finding it as compelling as watching paint dry, you moved to developing solutions for people with reading problems. Starting with digital versions of national newspapers, then moving on to OCR and speech-based solution, it was an easy step to move to cloud-based tools for a wide range of reading problems. 26 years later, you find yourself running multiple teams spread across Europe and harnessing the power of AI to assist our customer. Artem, William, the stage is yours. See you in around 30 minutes, just like the Swiss clock.
Great. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having us here. Today, we are going to tell you about our experience in AI-powered solutions for dyslexia support. But at the beginning, I guess I must clarify the term for people who haven't met it before. I'll do it shortly, but my colleague William will tell you more about it. The canonical definition says it is a learning disability that specifically impairs a person's ability to read. And practically, it means that it is difficult to live in a modern world being surrounded by text you're struggling to read. But modern world also means modern approaches to help with that. And one of the possible ways is visual and voice support. Simply saying, it's software which can read text aloud along with highlighting every single word as long as it sounds. And that's what was our partners from Allkind Group asked us to help us. Now you can see a picture of our software in action. The yellow highlighting is for entire sentence, and the green one goes through the words, highlighting each till it sounds. Mainly, the implementation went pretty well, but even though it was a web application, the HTML content reading and highlighting part turns to be the toughest one. Simply saying, there are no problems to get all the text from the page and do whatever we want with that. But it is impossible to match the particular word back to the HTML markup in order to highlight it when it sounds. Thereby, it was a desperate need to solve this challenge. And as it often happens with engineers, we started thinking and trying. And like Thomas Edison did, we found lots of not working ways to do it. But then we came up with a simple thought. Why don't we just calculate the number of symbols from the beginning of the document to every single word in it? And that gave us precise position of every word in the text from the HTML document. The first one is obviously a 0, the next one is a length of the first one plus spaces, and so on and so on. It helped a lot, but revealed another challenge, the quality. It may sound controversial, but it is true. Traversing the HTML markup is not the task of a web application. Our solution was enough to deal with some average HTML, like the Wikipedia, for instance, and shown less good results for a more complex one. And another problem was the performance. It was more or less okay to process a simple HTML, especially in small amount, but took way too long time for process average storybook, for example. If someone asked me at that time about the best tool to traverse HTML, I'd immediately say that Python is what we need, because it's famous with its web scraping and parsing libraries and with speed, of course. But using a Python would mean that an additional server would be needed, which inevitably increase spendings for the infrastructure, server-side development, and so on and so on. And just for what? Converting an HTML doesn't sound really convincing. And, as it often happens with engineers, we started thinking. We knew that there is such a technology which allows us to run some desktop application right in the browser. And we made a wild guess that someone did it for Python as well. And you know what? It was true. And thereby we discovered the PyD project for ourselves. And it didn't make a long time to develop a raw prototype, which, by the way, surprised us a lot. To say we are satisfied with performance is like to say nothing. Even though it was complicated idea, we complicated our idea for locating every word in HTML just to make it easier to digest in the web application, even though it demonstrated lightning fast performance. Thereby, we were able to process even a highly complicated HTML markup without significant impact to performance. And the amount of work was ridiculous in comparison with solving this task inside the web application. We spent just a couple of weeks to build a fully functional prototype on a Python instead of months of meticulous work inside web application. But the most valuable part, in my opinion, was not in direct solving complicated engineering challenge. The most important part was in the paving the way for AI functionality through this project to the people's minds. Believe it or not, but I implemented a couple of AI features in our proof of concept application, not because I've been asked to, but because I could and had a spare time to do that. It was a language recognition feature and part of speech detection with defining the purpose of a word like motion, timing, so on. And the feedback I got afterwards was stunning and sounded like, oh my, we do know some people who would have sold their right hands for those features. And that was the moment when the perception of AI shifted from essay-generating talking machine to some applicable and comprehensive, something suitable for the real-world scenarios, just like the picture, which was 1,000 words. But what is dyslexia after all? Does AI provide a universal solution for it? Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's just not possible for now, and my colleague William will give you more details about that soon. Regarding to the modern ways for dyslexia support, it rather looks like a providing set of tools. There are some tools with overcoming dyslexia consequences, and also same for training to alleviate them, and sometimes it's possible even to prevent some of consequences. But the major role of AI nowadays is to improve the quality of these tools, make them more effective, easy to use, and highly personalized. And the conclusions. Conclusions are, it's not so important which way AI-powered functionality may come to people's mind. The transformation it makes. It's like eyes-opening experience which lets us to see more and more places where we can successfully use it. And yes, we are incredibly proud that we managed to make our stakeholders the same happy and excited about AI as we do. Regarding the future perspective of AI role in dyslexia support, I'd like to say that I'm quite optimistic about that. Because now we work on an excellent idea of developing a system for early detecting possible dyslexia symptoms and provide more precise ways to prevent them. And now it's time to me to say thank you for your attention and let my colleague William to share even more details about our work. William?
Something's going on here. Okay. No, sorry, minor technical mishap. All right, my apologies. So as Artem already explained briefly, dyslexia is a neurological condition causing problems for reading comprehension. So 1 in 10 people are affected by it. In fact, in the United States, 1 in 5 students have a reading disorder, with dyslexia being the most common. Now, the bad news is there is no cure. However, there are ways we can help. Artem already mentioned that there is no single solution, and we can help with remedying and prevention, which is basically the mental equivalent of muscle memory. We can alleviate some of the problems with that. What if you never had that? What if, through circumstances, it was detected too late, you never had any prevention or remedial options? What do you do then? Well, this is where we come in. Web-to-speech is one of the many tools we offer under our Lexima brand. It reads web pages. Just a sec. This is updating a bit slower than I expected. It's a web extension that reads web pages to improve reading comprehension, as Artem already showed. So we also have extra support through dictionaries and markers. But the main issue with reading comprehension is making sure that the navigation works. Now, finding words quickly is crucial there. And as any of you have seen, some pages can be really complex. And if there's any web developers under the audience, you will notice that HTML, in the words of Captain Barbosa, it's more of a guideline. So that created an incredible challenge to deal with pages that may not even be fully compliant with the HTML standard. So that makes it all very easy for humans to read it, but very hard for machines to analyze it. So what do we have there? Using natural language processing with Python, as Artem explained, we create a text map. The text map allows us to very quickly find words and their positions. It's also browser-based, which makes it a really lightweight solution. The users do not have to download an extraordinary amount of data to start working with it. And we don't need to set up any expensive backend servers. So I can show you some results. So on the left side, you see the blue bar is the old version. The AI-based version is the orange bar. Now, a lot of people tend to use Chromebooks, which tend to be not too powerful. So we rigged up a system that slows down the CPU 6 times. You can see that the amount of time necessary suddenly rises enormously, and yet the AI system doesn't suffer from that. Again, the time for reading a sentence, when measured with the amount of characters in a sentence, it rises quite rapidly with the system that Artem described in the beginning by figuring out positions of words. With the AI-based solution, we see that it remains basically a flat line. Similar for reading the next sentence, it all goes much, much faster. So this fast and efficient use of navigation had an interesting side effect in that it's now also possible to read the UI. So people are no longer faced with reading comprehension in the UI of the application itself. That one was solved. And those fast responses provide for a far better reading comprehension. In fact, I'm doing the same. I'm using it myself for learning a new language. Now, Artem already mentioned the language detection, but we also have text complexity evaluation and sentiment analysis. It's also a system that can easily be plugged in into our other applications. And that is something that means that the AI solution as developed by Artem is of an immediate benefit to our users. It's faster, it's more efficient, we have more possibilities. It's also of an immediate benefit to us. Hey, we have happy customers. We are able to help them unlock their potential. And it allows us to focus on our users' needs. There are a lot of options that we have started researching and will see the light of day soon. The other side of the coin is we can also make life easier for teachers, parents, who do not have to struggle with the systems that various providers offer. We can do that. So you can see the results speak for themselves. AI is a force multiplier. It's also a gateway to understanding your users. So with that, I would like to thank you. Sorry for the minor technical difficulties. And if there's any questions, feel free.
Thank you very much. And by the way, the technical problems that we're facing on all sides, I think this is what makes us so human. And this is also that shows us how we rely on the technical infrastructure. So to me, this is always the authenticity that we have. I must say, first and foremost, thank you for this great case. And it shows us how important collaboration is when we speak about technological advancements. Our world, industries, domains, and societies are far too interconnected and interdependent to think in silos. So I think keep on this collaboration and joining forces. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning, as a mother who went through this school journey with a child with dyslexia, I'm super happy to see that you guys are working on that. And again, to bridge what that means for healthcare, I think it has much more in that most of the people know, especially if they're not in this situation, because it affects the mental health of the child. And at the end, it even affects the whole family. And as a mother, I can tell you, you struggle. And I'm deeply thankful that you guys are working on such great solutions. So for now, thank you again to bringing this use case on stage. I hope you can stay with us in the audience and continue the chat, or dear audience, reach out on the social media on LinkedIn to our two panelists. And now take care and hope to see you soon and have a wonderful, great festive season.
Thank you.
Well, with almost halfway through our conference, we arrive to our next expert panel discussion focused on investments in the health industry. So this is where the bridge is. AI-driven tools support doctors in swiftly diagnosing diseases, robotic arms performing complicated surgeries with precision, and intelligent system analyze medical scans to catch signs of illness sooner than humans would do. I think this is one of the most important things in our life, is health. Yet, alongside this AI-driven transformation in this irreplaceable value of human expertise, the synergies between cutting-edge technology and the depth of human skills presents a unique investment opportunity, one that promises returns in health, longevity, and quality of life. This is what our next expert panel will go into in depth. Laura, Anita, Alex, Heinrich, Jose Predo, it is my honor to welcome you on our stage. Let me introduce you to our dear audience. Alex, let me start with you, our dear friend. With your chairing this panel, I would like to introduce you now first. You are a problem solver who leverages technology to address significant challenges. With 7 years of applied AI research experience at IBM and ETH, complemented by 5 years of commercial experience in investment banking and consulting, you're bringing a wealth of knowledge to the table. Your mission is to assist organizations in conceiving and introducing innovative and digital products, capitalizing on your diverse background and experience. With you on stage, we have Laura, another dear friend of ours. You are at the forefront of cultivating relationship with prominent US and European venture capital firms, overseeing their investments in European market and their associate portfolio companies. Additionally, you spearhead business development efforts for your European genetic AI startup. Your impressive track record includes leading AWS healthcare and life science startup division in EMEA, as well as making significant contribution to healthcare startups offering strategic consultancy service to pharmaceutical companies at Monitor Group and playing a pivotal role in the NHS by leading the genetic testing strategy for England. Laura, it's my great pleasure to see you again. It has been a long time. With you, we do have Anita. Anita, with a rich background in healthcare, spanning numerous European hospitals, you dedicated the past decade to the dynamic intersection of AI and healthcare. Currently contributing your expertise at IBM iX, the experience agency, you focus on orchestrating transformative initiatives for hospitals, delving into cutting-edge topics such as Gen AI. Additionally, you collaborate with prominent pharmaceutical companies, driving innovation wherever possible. Your passion lies in leveraging technology to enhance the lives of physicians and improve patient outcomes, making each day at IBM a fulfilling journey. How nice to read that. This is how your job's supposed to be, isn't it? With you, we have Heinrich, another dear friend, actually just around the corner in Zurich. You are the founder and CEO and managing partner of BWW. PBV. Your journey started with the launch of Like Corporation, a global trading platform based on blockchain technology. You saw a need for the investment of blockchain activity in the market, and with Licky and your partners, you set out to create BVV. You have a unique experience as the previous vice president of IBM, co-CEO of ESL, and an active member of the board of Licky and Skylink. Welcome on stage, Heinrich. Great to have you with us. And then I'm continuing with another dear friend that actually we know you and Alex already since 7 years. And I'm super happy to have so many dear friends again and again contributing on our stages for you, dear audience. Jose Predo, recognized as one of the world's top 70 health AI brains. Jose Pedro has significantly transformed healthcare organizations using AI and data analytics with over 15 years of experience and executive education from INSAID and Harvard. He leads teams in harnessing advanced analytics and big data to revolutionize healthcare. His work includes pioneering the advancements of hospital big data analytic platform, H-Vital, predicting clinical events and generating substantial cost savings. As a global data, AI, and digital executive, Jose Pedro is a trusted advisor in health AI and a digital transformation dedicated to executing data-driven models to enhance care and customer experience. Join us to witness how these innovative strategies are creating impactful changes in healthcare. Dear Alex, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Dalif. I'm really excited to explore the world of AI in healthcare with our expert panelists today. A warm welcome to everyone who's joined us for what I'm sure will be a fascinating and informative discussion. We'll start by looking at how generative AI is changing healthcare. We'll talk about these new developments and what they mean for us. Then we'll move on to discussing different viewpoints from the market, followed by a focused discussion on the important technical and regulatory aspects of AI in healthcare. Finally, we'll talk about the influence of innovation and big companies in the field and how they are helping to push healthcare technology forward. So let's get started. And Jose, I hope you can start us off by explaining what the fundamental shifts you are seeing when applying generative AI in healthcare. How is generative AI different from traditional AI? And what do you think why the time is now for these technologies to be adapted in a healthcare setting?
Well, this is the most profound moment of our lives. This is a tectonic shift in technology. And I think this is really important to healthcare because suddenly the computers started understanding our world. And that is highly impactful because if you look at healthcare, 80% of healthcare data is unstructured. So most of that data is written in clinical notes. And 97% of the data that is generated annually by healthcare organizations is not used. And so when you have models that can very quickly make sense of all this mess and structure this data and resonate on top of this data, you have a breakthrough like we've never had before, not even in cloud or mobile. You have something that can be an ally to a doctor. And the difference between the way we were doing things in the past, I can give a very short example of a huge project that my team led back in 2015 on top of clinical notes, one of the largest in Europe, where we were trying to summarize clinical notes for doctors in an automated way. But this project, it took several people, dozens of doctors that after clinical practice were teaching the computer the clinical language, underlining clinical notes, telling the computer where were symptoms, medications, vital signs. And so everything would take too much effort to do, too much handcraft to accomplish success. But nowadays, the computer can understand everything that is written on those clinical notes in a fraction of a second. And that is a game-changing moment for technology in a broad sense, but mostly for healthcare because of the potential of impact this can have.
Thank you so much, Kruse. I mean, you alluded to some of the past challenges of adopting AI, and that now, with generative AI, things have become significantly simpler, in particular to reason about unstructured healthcare data. Nonetheless, I'm sure there are still some challenges involved in adopting these technologies. Heinrich, from your experience as an investor, is there anything you would like to add in terms of where you see the largest challenges in applying AI in healthcare?
Yeah, happy to say so, and also for the context, I'm saying this. I'm also a board member of Dr. Drop-In, which is a healthcare group in UK and the Nordics, where we try to disrupt and create the new digital physical healthcare chain. And we use AI. We use AI a lot in the non-critical area, the non-medical areas already, and as a generative AI, I mean. And we have done a big work in now starting first pilots to use it also in the healthcare delivery. Yeah, and the challenge in the healthcare delivery, I think, are three. One is a bit the maturity of the technology, and we know still the, let's say, the flaws we have from hallucination, biases, and other things. And of course, in the medical area, we have other standards we need to apply. Yeah, but I trust that this will be solved. The other thing are the legal uncertainties. I think that is, what who is responsible if somebody uses some generative AI healthcare advisor, and then it is not as it should be. I tend to think it's similar also to Google. You use Google search, or people say you use Dr. Google. But anyhow, I also think here that regulation will help and it will bring some certainty, but it isn't there yet. We have the first steps in it, but it isn't there yet. So it's very difficult as a clinic, as a doctor, to in really the productive use that, and somehow also in your daily processes. What we have seen is that hospitals have experimented a lot, and then they stopped using, actually, because it doesn't fit in their daily process, and it doesn't fit in their bookkeeping process and their filing process. So there's a little bit of work to do, but it will definitely happen.
Thank you so much, Heinrich. Despite the challenges mentioned by Heinrich, Laura, do you share some of the optimism Jose shared with us? How do you see Gen AI helping us to revolutionize and modernize, digitalize healthcare in the years to come?
Thank you. I'm actually very much on the optimistic side here. I think, yes, regulation needs to fall and things need to be regulated in order to continue to exist and to be adopted at pace by the whole system. But I'm very bullish and optimistic because I think, look, for years and years, for as long as all of us have been working, we've been trying to digitize and modernize the healthcare system across the value chain. So whether it is for doctor to patient, for patients at home, doctor to doctor communication, doctor with other clinical staff, anything that is back office, billing, um, so payments, dealing with insurance, then everything that is AI for diagnostics, etc. There's so much innovation. Some of it has happened, and then there's a lot of room that can still happen. What we didn't have before, which generative AI is now able to do, is actually connect all the different pieces, because it is using data across different sources that were typically very fragmented, that were very difficult, as Jose was saying, to bring together. And now you're creating co-pilots that aren't saying, we're going to go into a broken value chain and optimize the one piece. They're saying we can redesign what the whole value chain looks like to work with doctors, with back office, with clinical staff, with patients, with machines, to redesign a system where AI can sit on top of and actually completely change what that workflow is, as well as create solutions that are bringing care back to the home and enabling the freeing up of resources so that that process and that journey that the patients are following from home to disease to being in the clinic to going back home actually gets optimized and then gets paid for and dealt with on the administrative side in a much more efficient way. So solutions are not just chatbots, but everything along the way coming together and redesigning it as a whole.
Thank you so much, Laura. Healthcare is a global challenge, right? And just speaking as a former AI researcher and data scientist, one of the biggest challenges is the interoperability of healthcare data across different sites and countries. And so, Anita, I wanted to get your perspective on how you believe international collaboration will be important to foster the development and adoption of GenAI, and hopefully allow me as a data scientist to dream about interoperable healthcare system with harmonized data. So I'd love to hear your perspective on the matter, Anita.
Yeah, so I recently spoke at the European Health Forum in Bad Gstaad in Austria, and we discussed exactly this in depth, that the global healthcare, the biggest challenge is the need to have collaborative efforts among different nations, researchers, organizations, that we stop with this silo thinking. We really need to look at different data sharing points, standardizing, harmonizing regulatory frameworks, even like common guidelines. I mean, EU is starting this, which is great, but we need to have much more in-depth conversation about this. So much more what I also see with clients is more cross-border clinical trials where technology is involved. We need to do much more public awareness, which is what we're doing today here as well, and engagement through global campaigning, community involvement, because I hear some of my patients, they really want to get involved. They want to be part of all of the Gen AI and, want to somehow develop together also global training programs. How do you adopt all of this into the hospital space? The doctors are more aware, have better training. So really looking at global health diplomacy, like maybe thinking about different diplomatic channels where governments, international organizations can leverage, for example, diplomatic channels to encourage collaboration on Gen AI research or implementation, and really empathize on the importance of addressing global health challenges as a collective and not anymore as Germany is doing this and France is doing this, and really the international collaboration that does development and adoption of Gen AI technologies can actually happen. And in my opinion, and I mean, I've been 1 year now at IBM, sharing of knowledge is key, learning from best practices, and really sharing them publicly. So at IBM, we also discuss something like the screw up sessions, where we really also look at, okay, what didn't work? How do we share this within all of our IBM networks, and that we don't make the same mistake again, and we communicate around our little mistakes. And I think that's really the key importance to all of this work with Gen AI.
Very interesting. I mean, this is, I think, especially pertinent in Europe, where we have rather, let's say, heterogeneous healthcare systems. In your perspective, has there been more cross-international collaboration given the Gen AI hype? Like, have you seen changes emerged, or is it still as prior, like in the status quo? Like, any changes happening given the hype around Gen AI?
I think so. I mean, we are, for example, also doing like Horizon projects, so European Commission funded projects where we bring in a consortium, like different players, startups, big corporates, everything. So that it doesn't matter anymore from which country you are. So I do feel like there's a big change coming. We are collaborating more, but of course, GDPR in Germany is very strict, and like every country has their little procedures and hoops to jump through. So, and this is exactly what we need to face as a collective EU. How are we going to make this easier? It can't be that we're losing technology that's in Israel, and we cannot implement it in Germany in the clinics. Like, then we're really wondering, because I studied medicine, and I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? There's so much out there, and frameworks and ethic boards and legal systems is slowing us down, when obviously we are already very curious and careful what we do every day, because it's very vulnerable work. And we're talking about healthcare and patients, so obviously we take it very serious.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'm going to use one keyword you mentioned as a segue to the next topic. So I'd like to shift gears slightly to explore the market perspective. And you mentioned there's a lot of exciting innovation happening in different countries, including Israel. So I'd like to ask you, Heinrich, as a VC, how do you see the current market in AI in healthcare? And as an investor, what specific areas or trends are you focusing on in your investments?
Yeah, for a VC, it's a great market. I mean, it's exploding, because you have a lot of startups you can choose from, and they are all early stage, and we are a really dedicated early stage investors. For example, if you just look at mental health applications, you have several hundred mental health applications that you could invest in, and most of them are in early stage status, and even more established applications through generative AI, they become, a transformational attractiveness again. Yeah, and so now it's a very good market, but it is super complex just because there is so many things. So you need to take a focus, and you still need to invest with uncertainty in mind, which I think can be handled. So our focus is we focus very much on the patient-doctor interaction. Yeah. So we try to invest in everything that we see that increases the efficiency of the doctor, that helps the doctor before the patient comes to them and afterwards, to have the most efficiency in all what the doctor does. So maximizing his productive time. The same for the patient, before the visit, after the visit, to maximize. Because we believe this is one of the cases where there is immediate effect, and where also there is maybe faster applicability than in other deeply medical, let's say, fields where you have a long process until finally it's accepted by insurances and by doctor associations, etc.
Very interesting. I think that's very exciting area, right? Essentially giving back time to the physician seems a very promising area, particularly in today's time where there is a global shortage of physicians, and
Exactly.
physicians such as Anita going into the tech industry as one of the examples, kidding aside, but I think that is a very, very important, exciting area to look out in. I wanted to ask you, Laura, since you also work in this space. I mean, Heinrich mentioned mental health and trying to optimize prior or the patient-to-physician interaction. Are there any exciting companies you are talking to, and could you mention some?
Absolutely.
That are...
So yes, so I completely agree with him that freeing up doctor time and the doctor-patient interaction is very important. But as I mentioned before as well, there across the value chain, there's a lot of opportunity. And I think it's quite important to recognize that AI has been around in healthcare for a long time, but it's been improving the processes that exist. And so it was taking part of an existing pie. So startups were always competing for an existing pie. Whereas with generative AI, the fact that you are now generating new content, that you're giving new ways of operating that did not exist before, is not just another innovation, but it is a massive shift of abilities that we're bringing to market. So the companies that are coming in with these innovations now, we will see actually implement in the next year, 2 years, or however long it takes. But we're going to all be feeling those benefits very soon, and not just in the doctor patient. So some of the companies I've really liked, who I've seen got funding in the last year on the healthcare side, have been Cohelm, which is an AI-powered workflow tool that reduces admin work for nurses that Sequoia Capital invested in. Far Health, one of my personal favorites, that General Catalyst and King's Health Partners Ventures invested in as well. And it's an AI platform that captures hospital data for better resource management. So they're working on the billing and back office side of things. Both of them are in the UK. Tortoise is an AI co-pilot for doctors, again, reducing admin time, and it came out from the accelerator Entrepreneur First, so very much in your field, Heinrich. And in Israel, there's a company called Kahun Medical, which is a clinical reasoning and AI engine to help doctors make informed evidence-based decisions, and Local Globe invested in them. There's another, wide number of companies, like Dokla also does virtual wards and services to move patients from hospital to home. Also, General Catalyst invested in them. So there are a lot of different solutions that are looking across the stages, but again, they're not just changing the one thing, but are sitting on top of it to actually be able to create innovation end to end by impacting the final outcome.
Very, very exciting. I think another very exciting field is companies that bridge the gap to the pharma and clinical world, in particular clinical development. But I'm not gonna, this is just of personal interest to me, but we'll leave this for a future discussion because I'm just seeing the time.
Gaia. I'll give you one more. Gaia Health and Fertility. Excellent. And the work in that space.
Okay, very exciting. Okay, cool. Apologies, I have many more questions, but let me shift gears. So we had some exciting discussions about the general potential and the market perspective. I'd like to go into a bit more detail on some of the points that had already been mentioned around the technical implementation, regulatory, but also I think a very important topic, which is patient empowerment that Anita already had briefly alluded to. So Kruse, the next question is for you. What technical and organizational frameworks need to be put in place for the AI transformation to happen? Could you explain a bit from your personal experience in the field?
Sure. So if you think deeply, most of care is done inside large healthcare organizations. And if there's one thing I've learned throughout my 15 years leading this space from the inside of these organizations, is that plug and play solutions in certain places, they don't lead to a large scale transformation. They die after a few months or years. So there's one thing I learned is that you need to lead this from the top, which means that you have to have full commitment from the leadership team, starting in the CEO. But I also think that nowadays there's a new role that needs to be put in place in the leadership team that I would call the Chief AI Officer, although it can also do data and analytics. And the reason being is that the CEO, the CFO, the COO of these organizations, they are focused on the P&L every day. But with this technology, you have an opportunity to reimagine how things are done. And so this individual and this part of the organization, as Laura was saying, needs to rethink processes, rethink workflows, automate workflows, and how to plug this into the healthcare organization, but by bringing everyone on board. And so a bold stroke from the top, a message that is continuously sent, creates a culture in the organization that is key. And the second part is that you need to separate the IT transformation from the data, digital, and AI transformation, which means that you need to build a digital representation of your business sideways, while the other is running at its normal speed, because we can't wait any longer. And Gen AI brings you so much speed that you need to connect it to the data as fast as you can. And for that, you need to build a data platform, for instance, as Mayo Clinic is doing in the US.
Exciting. Thank you so much, Jose. We touched upon regulation, and I think just several bodies, right, that have put their heads together. Also, many years back, FDA and EMA are two examples, right, that brought forward white papers to bring proposal for us on how to regulate dynamic systems to ensure the safety of patients when they are treated or served with those systems. However, now with Gen AI, right, the application space has even been broadened further. Heinrich, I wanted to ask you, do you think the current regulatory frameworks proposed by the EMA, FDA, and other regulatory bodies are fit for the current AI applications, or do they need to evolve with the current capabilities of the technologies that we have access to today?
I mean, in short answer, it will need to evolve, but let me go back. I think we normally think about regulation as something bad, cumbersome, and not bringing innovation. But in reality, I think if it's done pragmatically and right, it brings the mass adoption. It brings the real adoption of a new technology. And you know, Dalit mentioned before blockchain. In Switzerland, introduced stepwise regulation, very, very, very slowly, with very softly from the beginning, and then evolving over time. And now Switzerland is one of the biggest crypto economies and banks and everything, and not the scandals, but a working industry compared to the US. So I think it is in healthcare very similar in generative AI. Is you need to do stepwise. You need to start somewhere with some basic guidelines, and what we saw from Biden or what we saw from the EU, there are a lot of really basic good thoughts in it, you know, and it has to evolve over time. The biggest mistake is try to do too much at the beginning, because everybody is learning. And I mean, generative AI as a technology is super fast evolving still. Yeah, I mean, we will be surprised. I mean, we saw the releases now. We will be surprised what's coming in the first quarter. And with that, the startups, with that, our thinking about healthcare and what we can do. And so I can only advocate a stepwise process, but I really welcome it that EU and other places have taken first steps. I think that they help in the adoption. They give us the chance for a quicker adoption.
I could not agree more with you, Henrik. I'm see we're running out of time. We'll just have enough for one more question. I actually had two, one for you, Laura, and one for you, Anita. And I'm going to prioritize, and apologies, Laura, Anita's question, because from my experience in pharma, we don't talk enough about patients. So I don't want to make that same mistake here. So Anita, how can Gen AI empower patients to actively participate in their healthcare decisions, and what tools or resources should be provided to ensure patients understand and can engage in their health journey?
Yeah, so like said, my whole focus is actually around the patient. And Gen AI actually does have the potential to empower patients by providing personalized health insights, tailored and to their specific needs, and involving them actively in their in this whole decision process. So what I've also seen, like the facilitation of patient engagement with tools and resources that are especially user-friendly. This is what we've learned also by the IBM iX, what we're all doing, the experience of the patient while they're using products that we're bringing into the market, and having a more dialogue-oriented or intuitive interaction with, for example, voice-based or in your language, you know, that the patient feels a little bit more like, oh, wow, I can trust this platform. It's speaking to me in Arabic, or it's speaking to me in Russian. I feel a bit more like hold or connected to a specific tool. And one of the things that I am really passionate about is, I also saw when I was working in the clinic, is our medical jargon is way too complex, and just having generative AI tools helping to bring it into everyday language for patients to understand is literally the key to adherence of medication, you know, just all around the education about a specific disease. So AI resources aim to enhance patient understanding in medical information, encouraging informed decision-making, both for the practitioner and the patient. We see this every day now. So like Heinrich said, like moving slow in some ways is here, I guess, key. we bring one product and solution into the healthcare space, and we really look at, okay, how does it make you feel? And this is literally my day-to-day work, because it's if we don't talk to the physicians about the tools that they need, and if we don't involve our patients, if they actually like the color or the DIGA that's being implemented for their tinnitus, for example, then they say, oh, the app is boring, I don't use it. Well, then what are we doing in tech? We're clearly doing something wrong if we don't involve every single person that is supposed to use our tools. So yeah, for me, the main focus is always patient. Patient comes first.
I think that's a very nice end to discussion. Essentially, Gen AI making medicine more human again. So I'm very much convinced of that. So I wanted to take the opportunity to thank everyone for this very engaging discussion. There's so many more questions that I would like to address to this esteemed panel. But I'm sure this won't be the last time we all get together and discuss about this exciting topic. So once again, thank you so much for your time and participation, and see you all soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.
I know there is only so much that we can take under a magnificent glass in 30 minutes, but you nailed it. And I would like just to repeat one thing. Anita, you mentioned patient, patient, patient. And what I would like to repeat, listening to all of you, is passion, passion, passion. And it really is heartwarming to see that people are taking care with such a huge passion and bringing this world forward. And yes, I'm really looking forward to having generative AI assisting and making our lives better, easier, and healthier in the future. So Laura, Anita, Jose Pedro, Heinrich, and Alex, thank you for your valuable insights. Alex, thanks for your superb moderation. And let's see what the future holds and what the AI trajectory holds. Keep sharing its development with all the passion and expertise that you all have. Looking forward to hearing more from you. And dear audience, reach out to our panelists. Stay healthy, Heinrich. And reach out to our panelists on social media. Catch up with them. They definitely know what they're talking about. So, dear friends, have a wonderful festive season and stay healthy. See you soon.
Thank you, Dalit.
Whoa. We're arriving to the next session and we're almost done. Somehow it makes me feel a bit sad because it is our last AI Cognitive Virtual this year. So I have a question to you as parents, to the parents in the audience. I have two daughters. When they were still toddlers, I was always on a constant watch out for their safety, especially when we were close to water. How was it for you? Or how is it for you? Besides all the attention that you can give, wouldn't you wish for reliable technology ensuring your children's safety? I'm sure we all would. I definitely. And in fact, it is not only children's safety that we talk about. Omer brings us now aspects on AI that help us to see what we don't see underwaters. Omer, a warm welcome to you on our stage. And I'm super happy that you were able to make it in Chag Sameach. Before I hand over it to you, let me actually introduce you to our dear audience. Omer, as a physics and electrical engineer, graduated and having spent the past 15 years at the forefront of Israel's computer visioning and AI frontier, your goal was Lynxight. Am I spelling that right? So Lynxight, thank you. Lynxight is to fix the meltdown of AI, which occurs when it gets wet. Over 70% of the Earth is covered with water, and yet both our eyes and the cameras we use cannot comprehend what they see in and underwater. Lynxight is developing a vision platform for aquatic scenarios, starting with swimming pools and ending in the depth of the oceans. Omer, the stage is yours. Toda rabba.
Thanks, Dali. Thank you for your kind words. So my name is Omer. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Lynxight. And as Dalit said, Lynxight specializes in computer vision in water, or aquatic AI. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to try to show you what that means. Now, the first part of the presentation talks about the science that goes into computer vision in water. And in the second part, we'll talk about how we can capitalize from it. Great. So computer vision in water, it's as easy as reading a book. But this book has a few small problems with it. The first problem is that the ink the book is written in is a bit discolored and faded and blurry. And the second problem is that the words are completely mixed up in a random order. And on top of that, the language this book is written in is written in a language which you are completely unfamiliar with. So in the next few slides, we're going to see that visual perception in water, which is the basis for computer vision in water, which is the basis for AI in water, is exactly like trying to read this book. Okay, now as you go deeper and deeper into underwater, the water molecules change the light spectrum with a unique filtering pattern. And you can see the image on the left where the red and the purple disappear and the images tend to go towards blue. On top of that, the light, the quantity of light goes down, and the images on the right show that the image starts to fade away. So the perceived image becomes very difficult to comprehend, and it's very different than what we're used to seeing, when the light's medium is air. So this is problem number one in the book we're reading. Okay. The next problem is surface turbulence. So we talked about mixed up words. Now, when light passes through the water's surface, the turbulence or the water's surface's chaotic random motion changes the light's path, preventing light rays from traveling in straight lines like we're used to seeing outside of water. And this has the effect of remapping objects underwater, mixing them up, creating a mess, if you will, in the image. And the deeper the image, the object is, the stronger the effect. Okay, and if you go into the third scientific phenomena, it's the language phenomena. So the dynamics of water. Water has buoyancy and viscosity, physical properties of a fluid, which cause objects to exhibit dynamics which are significantly different than outside water. And if we start focusing on humans, and specifically in cases where humans are in distress, their motion and their posture is unique and very different from that of outside water, and very difficult for us to comprehend. And even in extreme cases, a person can, God forbid, be dead in the water and still be standing up in a vertical position. And this is why us as humans, we sometimes have a very bad ability to detect distress in water. Okay, so we've seen three scientific effects of computer vision and perception in water, which are very different than what we see outside of water. But so what? There's a lot of scientific engineering challenges out there. Let's see how, when one applies AI in water, one can actually find great markets to capitalize on. And the first example I want to talk about is aquaculture. So some of you may know more than 50% of the fish we eat today come from aquaculture, from fish cages. And about 40% of the operating expenses of fish farms and cages go into feeding the fish. And most of the work being done today, tuning feeding patterns, deciding when and how much to feed, is being done by manually catching and feed and measuring individual fish and manually calculating biomass indexes. Now, cameras, and AI, which continually classify and measure the fish in the cages in huge numbers on the fly, can optimize these feeding patterns automatically and would have a significant impact on a $40 billion a year problem. The second example I want to discuss is underwater ROVs, or remote operating vehicles. They're used for any and all jobs underwater, oil rig monitoring, ship inspection, perimeter control, security defense, and many, many others. 250,000 of these robots are sold every year. And again, much of their work is being done by manual control, by cameras and other sensors, by a human operator. And this, of course, entails big costs. It creates a capacity problem and is the cause for many errors and accidents operating these robots. So again, AI, which would help these ROVs navigate efficiently, steer away from obstacles, and in general perform their tasks more efficiently, would take a big chunk out of this $16 billion a year market. Sorry, skipped one. Okay, great. Now I want to focus on what Lynxight is doing right now, and I want to discuss aquatic risk, or in layman terms, drowning. And the fact that drowning is a severe problem, and the lead talked about kind of the everybody's perception of it. You know, it's obvious. More than 10 people drown every day in the U.S. The stats for the EU are similar. It's the second leading cause of death for children under the age of 14. But that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the two numbers in yellow and the costs. And what happens is that drowning is very expensive. Okay, the insurance industry pays for this directly, and us, the public, pay for it indirectly. And for example, in drowning cases where negligence can be proven, the costs to resolve these cases are in the high millions of dollars. Okay, now all the computer vision we've seen so far goes into Lynxight service. This is what we are selling and commercializing right now, which is a service to transform standard CCTV infrastructure into a sophisticated risk assessment platform. And the fact that we can see objects underwater, understand the blurring and the distortion, all the phenomena we talked about of the images underwater, understand their dynamics and their posture, all of this allows us to deliver aquatic AI, which can assess risk on the fly for any human being submerged in water and drive risk reduction for swimming pools and facilities. And beyond risk, Lynxight's aquatic platform can give customers a comprehensive dashboard showing them everything going on in the facility relating to swimmer occupancy, behavior, demographics, anything that goes on to help them understand their business better and manage it more efficiently. Besides, of course, as we discussed, reducing the occurrence of adverse events and risk. So a few numbers in this market. There are about 30 million residential pools worldwide. A third of them are in the US. And there's another 700,000 public commercial pools. Now, the business model in which Lynxight operates is a SaaS license-based model with a Netflix type price tag for consumers and a low enterprise license fee for commercial facilities. Now, if you run the numbers, what is evident is that the risk control business just in swimming pools is worth over $10 billion a year. We operate globally through local channels. So in Israel, we have the R&D team, product operations, and a few select customers. But all of Lynxight's significant sales as of today are in Europe, not in Switzerland yet, but just around it, and in Australia. And we're focused on selling to hotel chains, to fitness chains, to sports centers, to municipalities, to any customer who owns or operates a network of swimming pools. So guys, just to summarize, we've seen in the last few minutes that computer vision in water is a unique language which must be mastered in order to achieve effective perception in aquatic AI. And we've also seen a few markets where this AI can create significant business. Lynxight is leading research and development in this field with a goal to commercialize aquatic AI and make it common and effective and impactful in our everyday lives. Thank you.
Lot. Again, something how AI can save lives. And this is, to me, still, and probably will always remain one of the most important things. How can we use technology to make our lives easier? Well, let me have one question to you. What drove you? What drove you actually to solve this problem? How did that come?
Okay, so it's a question I guess asked quite often, Dalit, and I think the story was similar to what you were feeling. Maybe 7 or 8 years ago, when my two kids were small, I was in a pool in Haifa in Israel, and the lifeguard was reading a newspaper. And you know, I was working in Rafael, in one of Israel's biggest defense companies at the time, and you know, we're also saving lives there. But it made me think and made me curious, like, how are we putting the lives of our precious kids at the hands of people who are, you know, underpaid and have a very hard job, and they're only humans, even if they have great intentions. And looking into the subject, I saw that basically the challenges, which, you know, of combining optics and water, caused really no significant commercial activity in this field, and that's basically how it started.
Okay. I just got, thanks a lot. I'm not surprised though, actually, but still I wanted to hear it. There is a question out of the audience, and we still have like half a minute. What are some innovative applications of underwater computer visioning that you are particularly excited about?
So we're developing a platform which really has endless applications underwater, and we're in touch with multiple companies and bodies to deploy it. One thing which has been happening recently, which is exciting, is oil rig protection. And in just a few seconds, oil rigs have various layers of defense, sonars, sensors, but they also have cameras for, I'd say, like as a last line of defense, hundreds of cameras. And operators need to look at the cameras. And what our technology has been able to do and prove is that we can detect faster, better, more accurately, and at a greater depth than any human operator. It's just in pilot stage, but it's one of the cool things we're working on.
Okay, great, thanks. We have some other questions, but unfortunately time is over. Please, dear audience, reach out to Omer via social media. Omer, toda rabba. It was a pleasure to have you here. And please take care and stay safe. Well, toda. We arrived at our last panel discussion of today, STEAM Evolution 2024, Redefining Science in the Age of AI and Large Language Model. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Fields are witnessing a renaissance as AI and LLM technologies redefine research paradigms. Leading academic institutions like MIT and Stanford are incorporating AI to amplify research, facilitating breakthroughs from synthetic biology to environmental science. The integration of LLM quickens data processing, refines hypothesis testing, and expands theoretical exploration, all at previously unimaginable velocity. This marks a pivotal moment for investors to contribute to a revolution that could unveil new scientific understandings and capabilities. For this discussion, I'm happy to welcome on stage Jean, Stephanie, Arnaud, Asaf, and Solomon. Let me introduce you first to Solomon, with you chairing this expert panel. You are a highly motivated IT entrepreneur committed to enhancing global businesses by linking them with elite talent and supporting their expansion. As a founder and CEO of All Stars IT for over 2 decades, you've established an international outstaffing firm that excels in providing comprehensive solutions for recruiting top global talent across more than 20 locations. Recognizing the swift progress in AI technology and the escalating need for AI experts, you founded AI Labs, a subsidiary of All Stars IT dedicated to hiring proficient AI professionals. Your core objective is to bolster the development and success of innovative firms through intelligent and cost-efficiency labor solutions. You're a firm believer in the significant impact of AI in the contemporary world and its even more sustainable potential in the future. Thank you, Solomon, for moderating the panel, which I'm going to introduce to you now. With you, we have Stephanie, a futurist and impact technology catalyst. You are the founder and CEO of We Impact World, the impact-led advisory firm and innovation lab powered by AI and blockchain, advising companies, boards, and governments to adopt transformative business and organizational models that aims for social impact and Scope 3 carbon neutrality in emerging economies. You are currently pursuing an executive doctorate focusing on the emerging economies' newfound power in the era of climate mitigation and AI, and its implications for the global economy and corporations. Thank you for being with us. With you, we have Jean, a dear friend of ours, whom I'm super happy to see now virtually on stage. Hi, Jean. Let me introduce you also to our dear audience. Jean, you have over 2 decades of experience in business management and technology marketing. Jean, she is a former CEO and CMO of Hanson Robotics, the co-creator of Sophia, the robot, and held marketing leadership roles as Dell, Cisco, and Apple. Jean is the chairperson of the advisory board of the Kathy Ann Holsphere Foundation and angel investor at the Startup Mentor. Jean has a PhD degree in integrated and holistic health, an MBA degree from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and a bachelor degree in psychology from the University of California, Berkeley. Great to have you with us, Jean, again. Thanks. Then let me introduce you to Asaf. Shalom, Asaf. Asaf, who is an investment director in Israel. He joined Intel Capital in 2018. In his role, Asaf is focused on investing in data analytics and machine learning platform and applications worldwide. He has been involved in several investments, including Anyscale, OPAC, Verta, and before Intel Capital, Asaf was an engineering lead on the Intel AI team, leading multiple machine learning projects to reduce cost, increase revenue, accelerate the process, and improve products. Dear Asaf, I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome, Shalom. And last but not least, certainly, we have Arno. Arno stands at the forefront of corporate transformation in the age of AI. As VP of Organizations and Transformation at the Renault Group, he spearheads initiatives to mold the next-gen original equipment manufactured. His expertise spans organization design, operational excellence, change management, and post-merge integration. My dear panelists, and rock the next 30 minutes.
Thank you so much, Dalit. It's a great honor to be here. Generative AI, a cutting-edge subset of artificial intelligence, is rapidly reshaping the business landscape, opening new doors for innovation and efficiency. How? Let's ask our experts. Jean, how is generative AI changing the AI landscape, and how is it being used in business?
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. And thank you so much for the Swiss Cognitive team for this wonderful opportunity. So I've been in AI for over 8 years now, and the introduction of tools like ChatGPT and other generative AI tools have completely transformed the area that I operate in. The reason is because for the first time, we have mass availability of AI tools to every single person, and also big tech providing access to LLMs almost free. So it has spurred really broad and creative use cases. And people are talking about one person with an AI system can now build a unicorn. So the use of Gen AI in business is still very nascent. So we should remember that Gen AI is really one of the many toolboxes in the AI toolbox. And so I see that there's a lot of opportunity to incorporate generative AI into traditional AI tools and machine learning tools. But I haven't actually seen Gen AI used as a standalone so much, at least not at this point in the enterprise world. So, but there are huge opportunities. So, according to Salesforce, they surveyed about 500 top IT leaders, and found that 2/3 plan to make Gen AI a priority for their businesses in the next 2 years. So we could see a big adoption into the enterprise once the FOMO has died down a bit, and there's ways to address the needs of the enterprises, including privacy, security, control, and scalability. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for enterprise to adopt Gen AI, and looking at some foundational capabilities that could be used across different domains. So these foundational capabilities include content generation, so text, images, audio, videos, codes, and then second one is research and insights. So taking unstructured data and summarizing them and doing comparisons and presenting them in a way that humans could actually develop insights. And ideation, so this has been used very broadly to brainstorm and to create an opportunity for us to see multiple and diverse perspectives. And then knowledge navigation. So this is probably the first use case for many companies, is to have the AI access their proprietary data and be able to provide a Q&A, knowledge building and knowledge transfer, and then engagement. So basically making the AI available 24/7 to deliver real-time interaction. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, but a lot of issues that need to be addressed, including accuracy and also cost. Right now, the token costs are coming down, but it's still pretty significant. So a lot of companies, I think, are looking at high-value contents, high-value services, rather than just providing AI for use in, for example, chit chat is not valuable, and there's a cost to it. And so I think the cost would come down a lot. Some pundits are expecting in the next 18 months, the token cost, the inference cost might come down up to like 95%. So that would enable the use of conversational AI to be very broad, aside from just high-value contents, high-value services.
Indeed, thank you so much, Jean. The integration of artificial intelligence into data analysis and automation is playing a pivotal role in scaling up sustainable science-based solutions across various sectors. This innovative approach is not only enhancing the efficiency of processes, but also driving forward the agenda of sustainability in a world increasingly focused on environmental and social responsibility. Stephanie, how can AI-driven data analysis and automation contribute to scale sustainable science-based solutions and practice translation?
Thank you, Solomon, for the question, and good evening to everyone. Let me address the AI profound impact on the sustainability transformation, giving you an example in the food industry, which is facing unprecedented water deficit, energy cost rise, and new regulation for more transparency and traceability. The Journal of Environmental Management has underscored a recent study published in 2022, highlighting the role of AI-driven data analysis in actually reshaping irrigation practices, resulting in an impressive 30% reduction in water consumption. So in today's rapidly evolving landscape, the sheer volume of data demanding real-time analysis for continuous optimization and traceability tracking within the entire value chain of every organization has become a huge challenge without the integration of artificial intelligence. The interdependencies of modern supply chains require efficiency and real-time tracking that only AI can provide, ensuring seamless operation and optimized traceability through the entirety of the value chain.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. AI is significantly redefining the way we write software. This shift is not just in terms of efficiency, but also in the fundamental approach to software development. Let's go deep into this topic. Asaf, how AI redefined the way we write software?
So software, till now, what we call software 1.0 is deterministic. The code is mainly rule-based, written by developers, and AI changed it by its finding significant patterns in the data. That makes code no longer deterministic, and we lose control on the software behavior, or we have less control of the software behavior. So and what affects actually the software behavior is the training data itself, which redefine the behavior of the software. And for example, unfamiliar data point that we haven't got in the training data may create a failure in the software. So AI software needs management and control tools, not only for development, but also in production to manage and monitor and control the software. Now, engineering and science have a lot of data, but there was a small amount of ML usage before that, and it mainly was because of awareness. We can say that the deep learning breakthrough in 2012 increased the awareness, and we see a lot of usage in engineering and science in deep learning in the last decade. And we think that LLM and Gen AI is as well increase their awareness more and creates more usage and more blending of AI into science. Every place that we use software, we will use AI.
Thank you, Asaf. The automotive industry is undergoing a significant transformation driven by AI. It's clear that the automotive sector is at the forefront of innovation, with AI playing a pivotal role in shaping its future. Arnaud, how do you see AI changing the landscape in the automotive industry?
Good evening, everybody. It's great to be on the panel. Thank you, Solomon, for the question. Indeed, AI is really impacting, of course, not only the automotive industry, but a lot of highly capital intensive and I would say engineering driven activities and industries. And we have been looking, over the past few months and year, I would say now more deeply at the potential impact that AI would have on our organization. In fact, if you read some of the news, we've been going through a massive transformation at Renault Group, which is called the Renaulution, and we are reaching now I would say the third stage of that massive transformation, which is called the revolution. And part of that revolution actually includes the impact of AI and what it's going to drive within the organization. So, we tend to say that when we look at AI and how it's going to impact us, there are really two dimensions. One is about how we're going to develop new interaction, new ways to reach our customers and people who buy the cars, you and I, basically, when we get into the car, and how we introduce AI, generative AI within the car itself. And then the second dimension is more internal, how we're going to evolve, what we are looking at internally, and how we're going to make the company radically different tomorrow, us, just like any other OEM in the industry. And we really see three things. One, it's all one is, I would say, the data science part, and you guys are probably much more technical than I am, so you know what I'm talking about. But how we look at data, how we master data, how we do data cleansing, which is a big topic. And we think that's about 10% of the transformation that we're going to see within our company and in the automotive industry. 20% is related to the tech platforms. It's related to all the tools and digital, I would say, integration you're going to generate and analyze. But actually, when you look at it and the impact on the group, we think that about 70% is going to relate to people, to the transformation of the organization itself. We hardly talk about that. When we talk about AI, we focus a lot on the technology, on data. But in fact, when you look at large organizations, it has a massive impact on the people, massive impact on the jobs, on the roles, on how the company is going to be run, on the potential, I would say, what we call digital twin. And we see really, for me, there are three dimensions of that transformation and people-related transformation, I would say. One is organization design. So basically, how do you organize your company? And I think, I'm sure we have some people on the call and in the audience who are working on that. But really, how do you design your team? The structure, role definition. So that's one big topic. Second topic is about skills and expertise. When you look at there was actually a Cisco study which was done recently. 70% of companies say that they're going to have an issue on resources, and everybody's fighting for resources, especially in industry that are not purely initially AI-driven or data-driven. So skills and expertise is going to be massive and is a big challenge for us as well. And the third dimension of that impact is related to the ways of working. So how do you want people to work differently? How do you make sure that the company is more agile, more collaborative as well? Because AI is going to have an impact on the I would say the usage of data, the collection of data. It's everywhere, and you guys know that again better than me. So changing the way people work, the way data are being collected, drive solution, drive value creation within the companies is a massive and also very significant topic. So again, three big, I would say, implications of AI on the industry: organization design, skills and expertise, and ways of working within the companies.
Amazing. Thank you, Arnaud. You mentioned resources. Allow me to ask you another question which combines resources. How do you see investments changing the automotive industry?
So, if we talk about AI specifically, I think there are really three sets of significant impact that AI is going to have. One is related to customer. I just mentioned it earlier, but really the customer experience analytics part, especially. We're working on what we call software-defined vehicles, which is really, a car which is centered around data, around the hardware and software. So we are tracking data everywhere. So the customer experience part and how we're going to use those data to improve the customer, I would say, experience within the car and outside of the car is essential. Dynamic pricing is a very big also topic for the industry. So customer is one. The second one I would say, and I mentioned it, is more software. We all know that AI is going to transform about 50 to 60% of the job of any software developer. So that's going to have a massive impact on the organization. It's going to have an impact on the roles again and people and how you upskill them, how you make them evolve within the organization. So software is a big topic as well. And I would say the third dimension where we see significant investments in automotive are more industry related. One is around efficiency, quality management. How do you anticipate issues you will have within your car? Supply chain is a big also area, because you want to improve logistics, you want to improve the flow of material, the flow of the cars themselves, distribution, etc. So logistic is massive. And last, I would say, and not least, design. So the way you design any material, any piece of your car, the way you design your car, we actually run a funny test around that, is going to be also impacted, and AI is going to help us, better design pieces without having to build them initially. That I would say specific application is true in any other industry where you need to build a lot of material.
Thank you, Arnaud. Allow me to raise one more issue. It's about risk. Artificial intelligence has witnessed remarkable advancements in recent years, penetrating nearly every aspect of our lives. However, it also brings a host of potential risks and challenges that demand careful consideration. Let's speak a little bit about this. Jean, what are the potential risks of AI, and how should we mitigate these risks?
Yes, so this is a very important topic. And I remember 1 year ago, nobody really was talking about it in the mainstream media. Now it's all over the news. So I think there are many known risks, which is privacy bias and also the black box effect. I mean, even the CEO of OpenAI says that he has no idea how the GPT makes complex decisions. It's a black box. And of course, a lot of issues now with deepfake and fake news being created with generative AI tools. So I think we need to look at mitigating these risks from multiple perspectives. So one is the regulation. And so it's exciting to see that Europe is leading the front here with the EU AI Act now being enacted. So, in that area, I think we're going to see a lot of activities, but we should strive to not just not break the law or, avoid the basically to meet regulatory requirements. We should actually strive to do more. And the reason is because there's a lot of situations, especially with black box and Gen AI, that where the AI could be introducing harm to people without breaking the law. So an example is I just got back from Singapore from an event that promotes women and girls in STEM. And one of the girls have been bullied because she's a coder, and then she's been bullied by the boys who tell her to go back to the kitchen. Now, that doesn't break any law and it doesn't break any terms and conditions, but it's very hurtful to her. So we have to look at it from different perspectives. And one of the ways of looking at it is maybe to introduce spirituality, the concept of non-harming. How do you ensure that AI is not harmful to people, even if the terms and conditions and the laws are not broken? And finally, an important aspect is the impact on jobs and society. There's a lot of concern around job replacement, very real. So we need to address this. And I was just at an education event where there's a big emphasis that AI cannot replace teachers because we need teachers to inspire and mentor the children. But there would be job loss. And I feel that a lot of times we kind of are optimistic, but we really need to have real solutions in place, plan B, if you will, because there would be a big job impact. I guess we have to be looking at mitigating the risk from all these different perspectives and really addressing the heart of the problem.
Thank you, Jean. In my view, AI-driven learning and upskilling programs are playing a significant role in promoting a culture of continuous learning and innovation within organizations. How do they achieve this? Stephanie, in what ways can personalized AI-driven learning and upskilling programs contribute to fostering a culture of ongoing upskilling and innovation, converting any employee into an impact maker powered by STEM practices and knowledge?
Okay, so let me answer this question in two parts. First of all, when it comes to upskilling our organization, there is one figure to have in mind. Nowadays, and this is planned by the World Economic Forum between now and 2025, we have to upskill globally 1 billion people. So this upskilling process will tackle different areas of STEM fields, but AI will play a critical role because not only STEM skills are yet in shortage, why we estimate that 3.5 million STEM jobs will need to be filled by 2025 and are projected to grow by 8.8% yearly. Therefore, AI-driven trainings are an absolute must-have to upskill those people and our employees, our organization efficiently based on their current skills, but integrating the fact that we need to address new skills and add new skills in the organization. According to a recent study done by Tech Skills Solution, leveraging AI to design custom-made upskilling training will impact the individual, upskilling process and generate remarkable impacts through, for example, 20% increase in efficiency, and additionally, provide some substantial 15% reduction in waste production. And this is based on this study done by Tech Skills Solution. So that is the first part of this question, is first of all, to be able to convert every employee into an impact maker, we have to upskill every individual in the organization. And then we have to build, the right culture to be in this constant evolution. So imagine a workplace where innovation is not just encouraged, but embed into the very fabric of the culture. Achieving this require actually a thoughtful integration of artificial intelligence. There is no way to do it otherwise. Firstly, if we consider AI simulation, which is actually a virtual playground where STEM professionals can experiment and refine their skills in a risk-free environment. So this is one of the solutions that AI will provide, and we can test specifically, you were addressing sustainability transformation. We can test some models before, applying it within the organization. This will accelerate the learnings and boost confidence for real-world challenges. Next, let's talk about, the interactive AI agent model. So it's about breaking down silos, which is a huge problem nowadays in the transformation of the organization, encouraging collaboration. STEM professional engage with those AI-driven agents, fostering a collective intelligence that fuels innovation at scale. But we need to move into a lifelong learning culture. This is absolutely crucial, and AI will tailor continuous learning opportunity to individual needs and according to the expectation and the vision of the organization. So real-time improvement is really the heartbeat of this system, and AI identified inefficiency on the fly, suggesting optimization that keep our operation agile, resilient, and efficient. So just to end this answer, let's talk very briefly about decision making. AI ensure decisions are grounded in data, not ego or business as usual tradition. By actually embracing this approach, we reduce, you were talking, Solomon, about risk. So embracing, this way of empowering our organization is a way to reduce risk associated usually with bias and outdated practices.
Thank you, Stephanie. Fascinating. Asaf, allow me to ask you the next question. Please elaborate regarding the technical depth of AI and generative AI. Sorry? Okay, so I will jump. Okay, so Arno, if you don't mind, science, technology, engineering. Arno, how do you see these domains being impacted by AI, and how does they translate to advancement in the automotive industry?
So I kind of answered that question before, but we can go a little bit deeper into that. I think AI is of course, addressing a lot of, as I said, customer and I would say relationship issues that we have with our client and the experience they have. But in fact, the biggest impact we see is actually internal, and how you just asked the question, how it's going to impact our engineering teams, how it's going to impact our industry, and the way we build cars. In fact, Renault Group has embarked into what we call the re-industry, which is actually a new project that we're launching, which is really rebuilding and reinventing how we make cars, reducing significantly the time to produce and the investments we're going to require to make new cars, as we want to actually reduce the total cost of 50% on the EV cars, so electric vehicles, and on 30% on hybrid and thermal engine cars by 2027. So it's very aggressive, but what we think is that with the use of AI, it's going to significantly impact, again, how we design cars, how we develop them, how we build them, and how we also manage, everything around it, whether it's suppliers, whether it's logistics. So I think the investments will be probably mostly focused on the hardcore functions and hardcore activities within the car manufacturer, probably more than actually just customer related experience, customer related, I would say, activities.
Thank you so much. In the last 30 seconds that left for us, Jean, how can AI support long-term human thriving? A short question, a short answer, if you don't mind.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite questions. So AI is here to stay. Artificial and human intelligence are very different animals, but very complementary. So I guess. Yeah. So I look at this as it's very essential for us to lean into our humanity to make sure that we don't outsource the wisdom part of decision making to AI. And so with this in mind, we're working with schools, educators to provide the AI as a real-time interactive interface for students to learn how to make decisions in moral dilemmas. So, the large language models are good in providing diverse perspectives. So we're introducing large language models in the form of these interactive avatars so that students could actually discuss with the AI and critique the AI about making decisions in dilemmas. So I guess my premise is AI is very good in giving us data-driven information for us to make decision by bringing into that mix our values, our humanity, and the context that we know very well. And so this is a perfect symbiosis. And this is how I see the future of humans working with AI, a perfect symbiosis of, where we have AI helping us facilitate our wisdom.
Thank you so much, Jean. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Arno. And thank you, Asaf. And back to you, Dalit.
Thanks a lot, Toda Rabba. And although we're a little bit about over time, Solomon, you are an expert yourself, and I would really like to have one question for you, if you can give me a short answer, because you have such a huge experience. The age of AI and LLM companies need the leverage of expertise and resources strategically. Now, as AI and LLM technologies continue to transform industries and redefine the way that we work, how can the outstaffing serve as a valuable complement to in-house teams?
Thank you for the question, Dalit. Managing labor cost effectively is paramount, considering it often represents a significant portion of corporate expenses. For example, specialized professionals in areas like machine learning and annotation may not align with the core business, making outstaffing a practical choice. Furthermore, hiring such experts in regions like Europe or the US can be very much costly, because sourcing talents for example, from Latin America or Asia proves to be more cost efficient. In today's dynamic landscape, innovative and cost-effective decisions are essential to stay competitive and think outside of the box. Remote work influence labor tech has played a pivotal role in enabling remote work. Flexible and scalability outstaffing provides flexibility to scale up or down. Cost efficiency by engaging remote professionals outstaffing. Time to market, AI and large language models technologies are driven rapid innovation. Outstaffing enables organizations to accelerate their time to market by quickly assembling teams. Risk mitigation. The dynamic nature of AI and large language models technologies can present risks, including changes in regulatory environments and evolving security concerns. Outstaffing providers often have expertise in navigating these challenges, helping organizations manage risk efficiently. And the last one, diversity and inclusion. I think that outstaffing can also be an extra source to promote diversity and inclusion by reducing hiring and promoting inclusive workforce practices, which are crucial in STEM field. In summary, outstaffing in the age of AI and large language models offers a strategic approach for organizations to access specialized talent, enhance flexibility, and drive innovation when executed exactly where it can be valuable component of a broader AI and LLM strategy.
Okay, thanks a lot. I think this shows again how important it is, collaboration, diversity, and inclusion. Solomon, Stephanie, Jean, Asaf, and Arno, thanks a lot for sharing your insights. And dear audience, take the chance, discuss further, connect with our panelists on social media, and remain in contact with all of us. Dear audience, now, first of all, thanks panel and bye. Have a festive season and hope to see you soon, hopefully in person. Well, dear audience, it is time for our last session, our grande finale of today's conference. Rhythmic Intelligence, AI's impact on music and health. A session that is full of interesting facts and inspirations. Let your mind blow away and the intersection of AI and music, and see how it influences your health. For this session, I am happy to welcome the legendary Walter Werzowa on our stage, dialing in from Austria. It is my great pleasure to introduce you to our dear audience, Walter. With over 30 years in the music industry, you are a pioneering leader in audio branding and music with AI. Your portfolio includes award-winning work for global brands like Intel and Disney. As the founder of Musikvergnügen, Beyond music library and health tunes, you've reshaped the industry. Currently, you are the head of music at MYTHOS MOZART and a university professor at the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna, focusing on film music. Your advisory board role at Spinal Inc. reflects your passion for technology role in music. Your mission, explore music, tech, and human emotions, inspiring others through sound's power. Walter, it is my honor to welcome you here today. I'm personally very excited about what you brought to us to present in the next 12 minutes and inspiring the whole audience just before we are going to finalize the Swiss Cognitive 2023. The stage is yours.
Thank you for having me. Let's jump in medias res, as we say. Here's my presentation. The first slide. I want to define what music is. And music, on the first slide, music listening is the most preferred activity compared to sports, TV, books, movies, radio, magazines, newspapers. And that comes from a research paper and is knowledge to us in our world. My next slide and talks about music in technology and is technology in music and how do we use those together. In my mind, in also many books, we say music is technology. Why is that? Just think about it. There's a box of wood with horsehair, and you can call it violin, or there could be processors put together, and those are making up a array for a computer service system, an AI system. So 30 years ago, I started my mission. This is when AI was not in the viewpoint of musician yet. And the world was kind of analog and new instruments defined the sound. And I was approached by a company who just came up with a new processor. And with that, in that processor, they had 24% brand awareness. They asked me to write a melody, 3 seconds long, to help them to push the name out. It worked. It's the Intel Inside mnemonic. That half a year later, the brand awareness increased to 86%. So quite a bit for 3 seconds of music. And jumping ahead now, then now we have in DeepMind and Google and engines, the Lyria engine, which is just incredible. You sing in a melody, you tell this voice to be something else, maybe a saxophone, and you can morph it now into a music style, down tempo, lush, background music. Is this a scare to musician or does it help us to be better and better? And our knowledge here at the university and worldwide, those are my companies in the States, shows that AI helps us to be more creative, because isn't it shocking that only 3% of mankind of our humans lives off of creativity? Something happens when children, their lives is pure creativity all day long, suddenly lose more and more of their creative output. And I strongly believe that AI will help us as a toy, as a tool to be more creative. We can embrace that. When we talk about why music is helping in health, there is one big term. It's called entrainment. And maybe you remember back when a teacher came into your classroom and showed a broomstick, put it between two chairs and put pendulum on it, and they're swinging incoherently in the beginning. And suddenly they become synchronized. And suddenly they are one movement. It's called entrainment. We can do this with music to our bodies, to our physiology, to our brains. We can add binaural beats into the music and fine-tune the brain waves, the alpha, beta, theta, gamma range and reduce or enhance those brainwaves. We know that pain perception, there is brainwave motion involved. In anxiety, in stress, in burnout, in so many of those cognitive challenges, we have that. And we can focus on those and help there. I want to talk now about how creativity and AI work together in this project I started 3 years ago.
When Beethoven died in March 1827, a part of his legacy were 40 sketches of an unfinished 10th Symphony. In 2021, his work is being completed by an artificial intelligence.
Wir haben uns gefragt, was kann die KI in der Kunst, in der Musik schon heute?
Kann man eigentlich die 10. Symphonie von Beethoven mit KI zu Ende komponieren?
He was a radical innovator, always taking the new technologies of his time, and now we're taking the new technologies of our time to advance musical creation.
Wir haben einen Weg gefunden, wie man die Ideen von Beethoven in die KI reingibt und sie führt sie weiter. Beethoven selber war ja immer aufregend, er war ein Rebell, er hat immer was Neues gemacht.
Das ist der Vater der modernen Musik. Wir freuen uns sehr auf die Uraufführung der durch KI vollendeten 10. Symphonie. Ob sie Beethoven selbst so komponiert hätte, was er davon halten würde, werden wir nie erfahren. Aber Millionen Menschen können es hören und gemeinsam erleben.
So this project was a life changer for me and many, many humans. It gained over 1 billion in earned media for telecom. So a lot of people interacted, and we talked a lot about how creativity, human creativity and AI can work together. And one big surprise was Robbie Williams called, and he said, can you bring Beethoven into one of my remakes, Angels, the song? And this is
check out my new version of Angels rearranged and re-recorded with my very good buddy Beethoven. I mean, with Beethoven AI, but you know.
And so how did we do that, and what happened here? And this slide, difficult, and actually it is very difficult. Because Robbie Williams wanted to have basically one bar, so 1.5, 2 seconds to say Beethoven, it works with this song, and then his song starts. And fortunately, we could talk about it and convince him that it needs more time to set it up. On top of it, there was not much information to feed the AI on Robbie Williams. So here is a sample where, again, human creativity and AI worked in tandem. Maybe even a little bit more human creativity. I had this idea to use the left-hand movement of the Moonlight Sonata to say Beethoven. And this is how it sounds.
I sit away as an angel.
We all are aware of how important data is, and that was one big challenge in the beginning. First, we fed the corpus, the training data, only with Beethoven's work. That was not enough. And so we brought in all the composers who affected his doing, his composing. And here, I have to say, only AI was able to do that, because if I would be the sole composer to finish his symphony, Beethoven symphony, I had listened to Rolling Stones and Beatles and Stravinsky, and I had so much more influence than Beethoven had. I couldn't be objective neutral. Only AI could look eye to eye into Beethoven and basically take his style, which you can define mathematically, and bring it into the symphony. And there was very little information. You see it's like 3 themes. And so with the first really acceptable output from the AI, where we took a sketch and finished it with AI. I arranged it for a string quartet, and at the first press conference I played this, and I made a little quiz. I said, raise your hand when you think Beethoven is over and it's the AI. And luckily, nobody figured that out. They raised their hands way too late. So this is Beethoven's handwriting. He was sloppy, like many of us, but he was a genius. And the music just played straight in a computer, so there's no performance in it. Sounds like this. It's a very little theme. What did we do to achieve suddenly 14,572 or so note heads just for the third movement? And so it sounds grandiose and Beethoven. It was many, many generations and 2 years of programming, going back and forth in annotations, and especially, let me also skip now to the last movement, the fourth movement, which ends in this grandiose finale. Here we had big problems because AI didn't have enough information for orchestration, how these instruments come together. Here again, the human AI work was necessary to make this happen. AI and music is one, I think, and also working together with Terrific Anadol is a friend of mine. We did MYTHOS MOZART, where visual art and AI comes together. And lastly, I want to say I founded this nonprofit Health Tunes, where we are supplying streaming, as a streaming platform, supplying music medicine based on symptoms. So evidence-based, we know what is needed to fight stress, anxiety, even side effects in oncology, and supply specific, genre-specific, preferred music-specific playlist for the user. So tap in a symptom, your genre of music, and you will get your personalized music therapy. And our goal is to work more and more with AI. We learned that, especially in epilepsy, there is one piece of music which we want to analyze better and bring it to all the patients who are drug resistant and need music in order to reduce the seizures. So there's a lot of work ahead of us, and it's exciting to partner with AI and to look into a bright future. It's the best time to be. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Walter. Music to our ears indeed. Thank you for this very interesting end of our conference and the last conference this year. We hope to inspire the audience and provide that AI can really set new limits to our capabilities, and it is only our imagination that can limit us. Thank you, Walter, a lot for being with us and sharing your insights and your experience. Thanks a lot. Keep up the great work and the vibes. Bye, and
bye-bye.
Happy Christmas. Bye, Walter. Thanks.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Well, we just experienced AI. We just got the information that the people listening to our conference via YouTube, that actually YouTube cut it out, the music parts of Walter's video. So we're sorry for that. And now, well, time is flying. Although we have here over 3 hours already, dear audience, let me wrap up quickly what we have experienced and heard in the last 3 hours. Well, we stand at the threshold of a transformative era where AI role is in our lives, and it's not just supportive, but deeply integral. Investing in AI today is not just an opinion, but a necessity, propelled by its rapid technological maturity and the increasing attention it commands at the top echelons of business leadership. The discussions around AI foundation models marked a pivotal shift in perspective. It is landscape where democratization of technology grapples with security and ethical use. For investors, grasping these nuances is vital for safeguarding their interests and remaining ahead in a rapidly changing environment. This includes striking a balance between harnessing proprietary data and adapting to the trend of democratization. They must navigate a world where foundational AI models, once the domain of a selected few due to high development costs, are now becoming more accessible, prompting a need for innovative and sustainable business models. In addition, we've learned the landscape of technology is undergoing a profound transformative way, AI-driven initiatives significantly impacting both education and practical application. In the realm of education and personal development, AI is revolutionizing the way we support individuals with, for example, dyslexia, serving as a prime example of how human-centric AI systems are unlocking people's full potential. Simultaneously, the integration of computer visioning in aquatic environments marked the dawn of a new technological area. This technology is not only optimizing feeding patterns and enhancing navigation for underwater rafts, but also playing a critical role in public safety. Its capability to rapidly assess risk in water environments such as swimming pools for drone prevention is a testament to its versatility and impact, showcasing the diverse and transformative application of AI across various sectors. The integration of generative AI in health is creating a paradigm shift by efficiently structuring and analyzing complex data, leading to improved patient care and outcomes. This technology is crucial in consolidating fragmented data, transforming workflows and the healthcare value chain, thereby enhancing efficiency and freeing resources for more critical tasks and being with the human beings. Looking to the future, AI is pivotal in addressing global healthcare challenges, facilitating international collaboration and the sharing of medical data, and fostering a more on-field and effective global healthcare system. In the rapidly evolving landscape of STEM, we're witnessing a redefinition of science approaches and applications. This includes the development of scalable science-based applications that leverage content generation, ideation, and knowledge navigation, all underpinned by engaging AI bots. Simultaneously, AI's role in industry like food and automotive is transformative, optimizing resources like water for sustainability and reshaping customer engagement and internal processes. However, this progress is accompanied by challenges in privacy bias and the need for regulation measurements, highlighting the importance of a balanced and ethical approach to AI integration in our society. And last but not least, we heard Walter about rhythm intelligence AI impact on music and health. Well, my dear audience, now in the very final minutes of the conference, let me spotlight again on our navigator, the practical leadership guide to navigation, the AI era, based on close to 20 AI experts. Quite some of you have been involved here. You can find the link in our handouts and also in the pop-up screen. Enjoy the read and feel free to reach out to us and the experts personally. Or, even better, share your thoughts and inputs on the social media, and we're going on with the discussion next year. So finally, dear AI community around the world, we cut across geographical and industrial borders. It is about collaboration and inclusion. It is about mutual goals. It is about the coexistence of humans and technology. It is about the core of human nature. So together, we stand again for respect, value, and principle, also in 2024. Let me thank you in the name of the whole Swiss Cognitive team for being part of our AI trajectory for already 7 years. Wow, I'm getting goosebumps. We hope to engage with you again in the new year. We wish you a peaceful and loving festive season wherever in the world you are. So let me say again, why wait? Act now and stand together for peace. Goodbye.